Guten Tag, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Duncan Akasasis, and this is Raichu the G-Scene.
Guten Abend, meine Freunde.
Welcome back to Val Verde Broadcasting and another commentary. Whereon we discuss
Good start.
The 1995. I do love bungling these introductions. It's quite fun, actually. Just this general word saladness of it all is quite fun. Today we are providing for your oral pleasure, but
Oral pleasure.
A commentary to 1995's. I don't know why people. I'm going off on a tangent now. Why people say when they say that something belongs to the year, so they'll go 1995's Batman Forever.
Yeah.
I just buried the lead.
In 1995 saw the release of Batman Forever.
Yeah, well that's another thing.
Batman Forever. Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever, the kind of turning point in the sort of Tim Burton cycle, I suppose. I think I'm not a fan of these four movies. I'm not a fan of. Personally, I think it's the best one. People I've had before, like, you're just being contrarian for the sake of it. It's like, if I had to choose one to watch, this is the one I most enjoy. I'm not really a fan of any of them.
Right.
This is, objectively bad. Well, not bad, but I know where it's coming from. We'll get into that.
We do indeed. So while you are sat there with your remotes poised and ready to go, we will commence watching. If you get everything to the people like to say timestamp 0, but I don't really know how you. Why don't people just say the beginning of the film? So we are at the beginning of the film, and if you press play at the sound of the klaxon, or me saying now, and
in we go. Batman Forever. So for context, 1995, I'd have been about 12, so I guess start of secondary school. We had we got free tickets from the Cambridge Evening News, or we won a competition or something. So four of us got to go to the opening night of this in Cambridge at the old MGM cinema up on Regent Street, and they did it like it was a huge deal. It was this movie was a huge deal because there was the Bono, the U2 song and the Seal song, all the tie-ins.
I remember all the kids' TV shows, the Saturday morning TV shows had big things about it on there as well. Do you remember all that?
Massive, and all the press and stuff, because I think they were banking on this making a bunch of money, which it did. And the thing in Cambridge, it was almost like a premiere. It was like a big event. So the four of us went.
This stuff is very Superman. Sorry to interrupt.
It's all right. It's that fucking font. That was Warner Brothers' template for success, wasn't it?
I remember thinking the morphing of the Warner Brothers thing into the Batman logo was so cool. But anyway, here comes the ubiquitous, gratuitous bum shots.
So much bum.
And cod piece.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a variation on the black suit. This is before. I mean, it goes really nuts in Batman and Robin, doesn't it, with the silver and
it's just bluey,
black one. In magazines published by DC Comics. It's not a comic, but the company's called Comics.
Yeah, I can't remember why. There was a thing about that, wasn't there? They called it magazines. I can't remember. There's
it's some bullshit legal thing.
Here's the Batmobile. See, this is in a way, this is a good opening as far as, look, we know who Batman is, sort of pretending like we're reintroducing him is a waste of time.
I think this works. I mean, the issues people take with it is the kind of campiness and the way it's toned down for kids, which I get, and I'm sure it felt like this huge betrayal at the time, and that's what everybody said, and bat nipples and all this stuff. But I think it works. It's paced well,
That's the go-to thing, isn't it? Like, nipples on the Batsuit. It's like,
it's just a lazy.
It just looks like a human torso. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't care.
Also, just got a credit there for Rennie Auberjonois, whose name I always get wrong, who was Odo from DS9.
Yes.
I just need to say that. But you got John Dexter in this, and Rick Baker doing effects, and Elliot Goldenthal's music.
Bob Ringwald. That thing, aesthetic of the Batmobile going through out the Batcave and down the street with all the leaves everywhere is very Burton-esque. That's quite Burton-esque with things in front of the bat symbol.
Yeah, and he produces as well, and there's definitely an eye on his aesthetic, but it totally left turns into this. I like how colourful it is and poppy. Yeah, it's gay as Christmas. And I mean that in the nicest way. Yeah, it's this super camp thing. It's odd because they tried to move away from the Adam West thing, but this goes back to the Adam West thing and even does. I remember that opening night, when he lifted up the bit of metal and says "Holy Rusted Metal, Batman." Everybody loved that. Yeah, that went over really well.
Well, as well because Batman
sort of goes, "What?" Things.
He doesn't get it. It's kind of that I can kind of
Holy Rusted Metal, Batman. That is a shitty joke, but at the time it worked. Yeah, and the tie-ins for this, and like I remember that like you two can fucking do one, but that video was cool where it was kind of like the animated series where Bono was like the animation was quite cool and Bono was like an off-brand Joker.
Yeah.
In it. And that Seal song was already a thing. They just made a new video for it.
Yeah, I never understood why that was like a tie-in, because it was just a Kiss from a Rose is somehow linked to this. But
it's sort of like when Eminem did Stan with that Dido sample, that song got big, so Dido could then release the song it was sampled from afterwards, and it had success.
Yeah,
it's kind of strange.
Now this is a slightly different cut.
Oh, I don't know how many people are syncing at home, so probably not many.
Well, so I only said that in terms of like when I had it on video back in the day. A lot of stuff was cut out of this opening. There's just a few bit extra stuff with Two-Face and stuff. Is that an example of the first CGI capage?
It could be.
It looks sort of like it.
Oh, it's definitely Nicole Kidman in this film was definitely a sort of sexual awakening for me. It's like when your dad talks about Jenny Agutter or whatever. For me, it's like Nicole Kidman in this.
Kevin Smith calls her a capist or whatever because she just is so hot for fucking like cape wearers, isn't she? She's just like horny as fuck.
I really wanna hump you fucking. If I
Good eye, baby.
Fuck me with the cowl on and
keep it on. What about your panda makeup?
Yeah,
I like it. Who can we offend this week?
Slipping off my chair right now.
I'm gonna need a wet floor sign. It's like monsoon season in me clacker.
Oh, there's a Rorschach test. Oh, fucking all I see is capes and cocks. I got dressed up just for you.
Oh, crumbs. No, I love that. See shit, you know, the turnaround thing and he's not there.
Yeah.
That evolved into like he's a super ninja. And,
yeah. There's a lot of spurious stuff with this, like things on chains coming through doors and stuff like that doesn't really add up. but whatever. But I love this, the drama of this, and I know it's campy, but the drama is when I was a kid and the energy of all this stuff, I loved it.
Well, it's kind of, you know, this is because the energy in this is not really something that. And, you know, Batman and Robin, I do not and never have enjoyed.
They cut that. I remember him going blast him, wasn't in the VHS for some reason. Anyway, sorry, yeah, Batman and Robin.
I've never enjoyed Batman and Robin. But this is not a style that Joel Schumacher particularly does elsewhere. And his stuff is generally quite played straight and it's quite... Yeah. You know, he's done a lot of serious films, like A Time to Kill. And
Falling Down.
I still love Falling Down.
Incredible movie, yeah.
I think... I kind of feel like he borrows a lot from Sam Raimi for this. Like the Dutch angles and the camera movements and stuff. It's you know, it's diet Raimi.
The proto. Yeah, see, some of this is new. All these it's because it's a film I watched ad nauseum as a kid. A lot of the insert shots of boots hitting people and stuff like all the kicks and that. I guess it's all because of even in the 90s there was quite a lot of censorious shit going on with, you know, for kids, I guess. And
I do sort of think now my kind of theory with this and with Batman and Robin. There was a kind of time where there was an insulting view of comics as a medium, and I'm a big defender of the idea that, you know, people think comics are a genre. So, if you've got a comic means grown-up men in capes running around beating each other up. Well, you know, Mouse is about the Holocaust. Persepolis is about like Iran. Like, you know, it's a fucking medium. It's not a genre.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was this like quite offensive kind of concept, really, that comics are dumb, so you can just be dumb. So there was this time when people used the term comic book just as shorthand for stupid, or kind of dumb or ill thought out,
the funnies or whatever.
Yeah, and I get that generationally for someone such as we've already said, like in our review of Batman, Tim Burton was never really a comic book fan, which is his own thing. Someone such as Joel Schumacher, owing to his age, and a lot of people involved with this, grew up on the Silver Age of comics. And the Silver Age of comics were silly and gonzo and camp and very sci-fi and a bit crazy. And the generation of filmmakers that are making things now grew up on the kind of post-Frank Miller 80s, 90s, Frank Miller and more kind of 80s, 90s comics, and things are all taken a lot more seriously and so on and so on.
This bit, sorry to interrupt, Boiling acid. What the fuck has that got to do with anything? Boiling acid.
I think it's like Death Wish 4. There's like a dress factory and there's just a vat of boiling acid.
Why would boiling acid make it any more harmful? Yeah, and also, where's it coming from? It's in a bank vault.
Quick! There's acid everywhere. Wait, is it hot?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's chilled acid.
I guess that's sort of a callback to Superman 3, isn't it? In a sort of weird way. Anyway, sorry, mate, to interrupt. I was only saying
I was off on a rant about kind of the perception of comic books. I mean, I think there's a generational argument to be made that people grow up on different eras of comic book. Joe Dante is someone who is very, very influenced by the EC, which is DC. It's the same thing. EC horror comics.
Right.
And you know, I can totally conceive that Joel Schumacher looked at this from the point of view of someone who read or had a passing interest in the Silver Age of comics, where everything was campy and crazy, and you know, it's sometimes referred to as the four-color world. So everything's kind of quite gaudy.
Yes.
And this is one of the gaudiest films ever made.
I have to say, in appraising this, like, I do like the approach to Batman in that I get the sense that looks fake as fuck. I get the sense that you know, things like that, like Batman. It's not because Batman's brilliant, it's because he's crazy enough to do shit like this, like the whole taking his hearing aid and cracking the safe. I bet he doesn't know how to do that, he just thought it would work, and somehow it fucking did. You know, there's a side to Batman, there's an approach to Batman, like, how does that even fucking work? Like, it just goes back in.
There's an element as well, I think, of classic heroics, in that he's just classically heroic, so he's always right.
I think as well,
it's a Silver Age thing.
There's that sort of side of him that he is nuts, you know, and it's like shit like that. Like, he just got lucky.
Get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Yeah. Come on. But yeah, it's like, it's kind of, I like that about this Batman has a real element of that, where it's like he just throws himself into situations and like wins because I guess he's got right on his side, and it's a quote unquote comic book world.
Well, classic heroics. I mean, because Gotham in this is so mental, like all these massive statues and shit. Because they build on that in like Batman Forever.
Yeah.
No, Batman Returns. There's a few elements of nut statues.
Yeah.
And they're kind of big, crazy, like socialist Soviet type things with big hammers.
That's right.
And stuff.
Holding the
But then in like Batman and Robin, there's some kind of giant roller coaster slalom thing in the sky.
It's the observatory thing, which is a statue. It's like a Olympus or whatever holding.
They have a bit Atlas.
Sorry.
They have a big like chase on it.
Yeah,
it's like, who built this?
It just looks like some kid playing with toys down whatever. I
did just see a photo, and I'm not sure if it's real. It's one of those clickbait things, so I didn't go for it. And it was I think it's been built in Korea, and it's a footbridge that's got two giant concrete hands holding it up.
Right.
And if it's real, it's cool as shit. But it's sort of like, oh, they've gone down the Batman Forever School of Architecture.
Yeah. That's not how you fly a helicopter, by the way. You can't just grab the stick.
It's the helicopter controls.
Yeah.
Up, down, left, right, stop, go.
I love the way he smashes the rest of the thing with his head. I think that looks cool. Like, it's the sort of thing Batman would do. Like that. This Batman is just fucking. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's by design by Val Kilmer or what, but he certainly has this look of like. It's almost death wishy. It's almost like it's a weird interpretation of Batman that actually, if you buy into it, he's someone who sort of, and I think he even says, doesn't he, in it, like I don't do it. Doesn't he? At the end, he says, "I'm Batman not because I have to be, but because I choose to be," or whatever. And it's kind of like at this point, you're kind of feeling like he's just doing it, but he doesn't really know why. Almost,
they do develop his character as well.
Yeah,
this is a nut because they've got a Statue of Liberty that just says Gotham.
Yeah.
But also, Superman 2 shows the Statue of Liberty in Metropolis.
Superman 1 does it as well. That's
thought it's sad it doesn't say Metropolis across the headband.
Yeah, no.
In Superman,
like every major city just has.
Well, you just have a Statue of Liberty with the name of the city on it.
That's a great shot, I think.
See, part of the thing, and you know, it may be a failure or whatever, but this tries to develop the character, and you know, it's a bit ham-fisted. A bit one of the plot points is there's a character psychoanalyzing Batman. It's kind of like, why are you doing this, you fruitcake?
Yeah. Yes, it's very CGI.
All the crazy, because it's like Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
All these big. Some of them are kind of classic. You got a sort of Atlas thing, but you get the kind of big Soviet things of hammers and stuff.
Yeah.
Now we're going all ready for an understated performance by Jim Carrey.
Well, of course, this was to like ad nauseum. This role was talked about with Robin Williams. I don't know if that was ever
even into the Christopher Nolan era.
Yeah,
which was kind of valid because they worked together on Insomnia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I'll be honest. Like, yes, Robin Williams is funny, but as the Riddler, the Riddler's not a funny character. He's not supposed to be anyway.
There he is. There's Odo.
Where?
Oh no, it's not.
That's not. Yeah, that's not.
I just thought it was him because of Star Trek 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's not him at all.
I don't know where.
There's Val Kilmer as Bill Hicks. It's when he has a roll neck on.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm just going to call him Odo. His character's called Dr. Burton. See what they did there?
Is that Ray Aubergine? He plays Dr. Burton at the end. Oh, okay. I don't recognise him at all in that. I'm sorry. Oh, righty then.
And this was the era, of course.
Oh, this is Kerry.
This is when Jim Carrey just blew up and went fucking mental. Well, I don't know about you. I can't speak for you and yours, but in like our school,
oh god,
everyone went fucking mental. So it was
yeah.
The Mask and Ace Ventura. And
I always remember it as being it was Ace Ventura was the first one because it was off the back of Saturday Night Live. It was a real era of Saturday Night Live.
He did In Living Colour as well.
Exactly, and then it was kind of. It's funny though because you look at the mania and stuff he puts in. Yes, it's over the top, but it's very considered. Like it's very purposeful.
He knows what he's doing and his physicality and stuff. I mean, his performance is very much, and it's a great kind of counterpoint to the energy of Bruce Wayne because he's very kind of stoic. And I don't mind Val Kilmer as Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Well, I don't, and I think actually it's an interesting approach to the Riddler. You know, I mean, because that is something that the animated series did. That it wasn't that he worked for Wayne Enterprises. I think there was some involvement with Wayne Enterprises, but he worked for another.
Played by the mighty John Glover.
Was he the Riddler in that?
Mm-hmm. And then he's in
Batman and Robin. Yeah.
But he's also Alexander Luthor. He's so much DC stuff.
He's mad for it, isn't he? Didn't he tweet you back or something?
He did. Yeah, that was one of the proudest days of my life. God bless him. God love him. He's just one of the best humans.
He is.
See, his whole thing is because he's obsessed with Bruce Wayne, isn't he? So they have this it's the kind of duality thing of he's the messy version.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, this has been written around Jim Carrey, but I just cannot imagine Robin Williams doing this.
Well, you could put him in the kind of grounded Christopher Nolan one, because like whoever would have guessed how they would have done the.
I don't know. I can't say.
I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying how it could maybe fit.
Yeah.
So when he has the black roll neck on, he's absolutely Bill Hicks. I totally see how that's supposed to be a continuation of Michael Keaton. Whereas when George Clooney's in it, that's just another guy. Another guy.
This was sort of definitely stepping away. I mean, I feel like this really is a sort of fork in the road. In fact, as soon as the Batmobile leaves the Batcave at the start, it's almost like we're veering off now.
Was that Mrs. Slocum from Are You Being Served? Just
with the purple hair. Yeah.
They've got a lot of
what could be construed as homoerotic statues.
Is that supposed to be like an objectivist Ayn Rand type thing?
What?
Well, Atlas Shrugged. Having kind of a billionaire has loads of statues of Atlas.
Could be.
I mean, I don't want to. I'm giving this film way too much.
I can't imagine Joel Schumacher as a Randian.
Oh no! I'm saying it might be critical of that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, yeah, it could be. This stuff is bonkers. But quite again,
where is this shit?
Where is that going? That goes all the way back to Wayne Manor.
Well, this is the thing. This is a coffin as well.
Yeah. He had that in Returns.
Did he?
Yeah. The Iron Maiden that. All the spikes go away.
Good for Returns. I'm not, by the way, comparing the portrayals of Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer. It's just the way he wears the same clothes and he kind of has a similar look.
A very sort of, what would you call that? That's like a sort of AC, is it Escher?
MC Escher, yeah, the kind of surrealist mathematical.
Yeah, and like it's going, like that doesn't make any sense that it's then
different planes of gravity and stuff. Because is it this one where he drives the car up the wall, or is that Batman Robin?
Yes, this one, yeah. I put the light, I uplit my...
I uplit my clacker for you. I'll lit your bit signal.
I mean, it's so... I mean, I don't want to, like... I don't want to bring people's sexuality into this necessarily, but is this, do you think, a gay man's interpretation of what women do when they're trying to seduce someone?
Well, he didn't write it. I mean...
No, I guess not, no.
I think...
that's way too oversimplified as far as I think.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Schumacher is a very competent filmmaker. He's made some incredible stuff. I feel really bad for him having got it like his ass handed to him essentially by all the fans.
Yeah, savaged, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm not mental about Schumacher as a filmmaker. I think Falling Down's the best thing he's ever done. I view him as kind of a steady hand and quite competent. He's not bad. I mean, these films, yeah. But it's kind of this it's this kind of campy melodrama, and again, I think it's because it's a misconception of comic books being a genre, not a medium. And secondly, it's a generation of people who grew up much like I said before, people like Joe Dante, Robert Zemeckis grew up on the kind of films and culture of the 1950s, perhaps secondhand.
Yeah.
Like, this is the comic book version. It's the Silver Age of comics. So, like, 12-year-old me didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, it's her with the ginger curly hair. It's natural look Kidman. That's maximum Kidman.
That's true.
For me.
That's true. There's the great bit where he goes to her. Is it a fantasy or is it real? Where he goes to her, he's waiting outside her apartment or whatever, and he goes, and she's just wrapped up in sheets and stuff. It looks pretty good.
I think that was it, actually, when we went to the screening, because like I said, it's like a premiere, and one of our mums dropped us off and was going to come back later, and there was some girls there, probably in their 20s or something, and one of our mums was kind of like, oh, would you mind just make sure the boys go and sit down and get a seat, and we're going to come get them later. And
I love that shot. Sorry,
yeah, it was nice.
Going into that window. Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, of course. And one of the girls goes to me like, you're just here because you fancy Nicole Kidman, aren't you? And I just kind of went, that little girls, it's got gems.
I love this bit. It was sort of spicy. He's like, oh, ha! He's getting like electrocuted by his invention.
His brain beamer.
Yeah. When like everyone else has got a neat and tidy desk, and his is like.
So I think that the kind of Riddler from the Adam West one was Frank Gorshin.
Yes.
He's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That was such a good interpretation. He's not really trying to do. He's doing Jim Carrey, isn't he? Really.
Yeah.
That's all he's really doing.
That ding, ding.
Oh, I probably should have mentioned this already, but I did do a commentary to this. Like, I did a commentary to this so long ago that when we uploaded them, it had to be in like, I guess 12 10-minute chunks or whatever.
Right.
Like, because YouTube wouldn't accept from everybody long videos back in those days.
Right. Okay,
so they were on like the separate gaming. They used to go on the separate gaming channel in the beginning as well.
Of course they did.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, so I have done this before a long time ago. We did all 4 of them, but you did the Nolan ones, right?
That's right.
Because I never did those.
Yeah. It's basically what he's invented is 3D TV.
Pretty
which was
much,
the thing that did not do well.
But it seems to make you kind of jizz a bit or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it goes into like it's depicted
Beams
as 3D, but
it.
I think it's like in your brain or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but doesn't it like melt his brain or something? Because he's
at the end because he gets too much in his head.
Too much
He's
TV.
essentially cycling.
It's a blender, isn't it? Look, it's got a handle on it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think that's the idea. Is it's made of a blend.
Jerry rigged kind of. Because that's one of those brace things for when you've been injured. Isn't it?
It's like a neck brace in it. Is that steampunk or something? It's like all those valves and things going.
It's kind of steampunky, yeah. I would say this has got a lot in common with. So I just rewatched The Mask recently, and that was kind of one of Jim Carrey's big breakthroughs.
Well, I always thought that came before this, but apparently it didn't. Apparently it was Ventura. Then he got cast in this.
Wait, The Mask came after this?
Well, only in terms of Jim Carrey's doing of them. I don't know if it came out. Whatever, but
The Mask came out in 1994.
Yeah.
So The Mask, because that's by Chuck Russell, man. Chuck Russell was a really interesting guy. He's done his filmography is diverse. That's made by New Line Cinema, so it's an independent film. They could have gone down the horror route with it because that's what the comic was like, but they went down the kind of Chuck Jones cartoon camp thing, which really worked for Jim Carrey. If you look at The Mask and look at the Schumacher Batman films,
right,
they are visually very similar.
There's
loads of gaudy lighting and stuff, and loads of Dutch angles and shit like that, and some VFX and stuff. Green, loads of green, because the marketing for this was all green.
Yeah.
I used to have a thing. It was like I guess it was like a Polly Pocket. I don't know what those were exactly. It's like it was a Batman Val Kilmer head.
I had the same thing.
Right?
Yeah, well, not for this, but I had a lot of them for. I had Star Wars ones, and it wasn't called Mad Max. It was called something Max.
Mighty Max.
Mighty Max.
Yeah, I think like Mighty Max was the original one, and then they started doing branded ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a Val Kilmer head. You open it up, and it's like a little Batcave, a little guys. I remember the video game of this sucked dick.
I used to love it though.
Did you really?
I know it was bad,
yeah,
but I had it on the Mega Drive. Well, my friend,
because they were digitized Mortal Kombat style, right?
Yeah, so the Mega Drive was the first console I ever got, but I got it way after it had been a thing. So I got it when like PlayStation was out of it because I just couldn't afford
Yeah,
or sorry, when N64 was.
I know that feel.
Because I just had no money, so I ended up buying one for like 30 quid or something, and I got Rise of the Robots like a chump.
Oh,
bless him. In the original cut of this that I had, he fell to his death from there. That you didn't get this bit where he's hanging, and he goes and talks to him.
All those copies that people definitely own have gone out of sync now.
Yeah, well, that was on the VHS. This copy is the
standard,
the
version?
2005 special edition one that came out.
Yeah, that's a lot more sadistic, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is because.
Yeah, so I mentioned this come up in Risky Quizness and stuff before, but like, there's the story that before filming this, Jim Carrey ran into Tommy Lee Jones in the restaurant, went to say hello, and Tommy Lee Jones said,
"I will not sanction your buffoonery."
What an amazing thing to say. What an incredible thing to say.
But then proceeded to definitely sanction it by copying.
By doing this, yeah, he's definitely trying to... There's yeah, this is interesting. It's like, hey, didn't you used to be Billy D. Williams?
Yeah. No.
I forgot they show this in it. Just in court.
Why is Batman there?
Do you think he was just in the public gallery?
No, look at how he does the thing with the paper. It's like he moves it off his face.
He smeared it across his face.
What
the fuck?
Yeah, that is such a lazy way of saying that's how he got his Two-Face. I remember one of the biggest things for me for the original animated series was the Two-Face two-part.
Fleshed out Two-Face so
good. I remember as a kid being like, oh my god.
With proper high drama.
Yeah.
Like expressionistic drama.
Yeah.
And he
got blown up, didn't he? He was like hanging off half a rail and just got blown up.
In that kind of industrial area. The kind of deep dive into his personality, and it's quite a different take on him. Because they make him kind of like Italian-American-y almost. He's got that kind of Mediterranean look. Yeah. He's quite a big guy.
Well, he has the same sort of look that Lex Luthor has in the Superman one, doesn't he? He's got that kind of sort of very racially ambiguous look. But I know what you mean. It's that kind of, and I like that about him. Yeah, I thought who did the? I can't remember.
That's
the guy who I know. The guy who did the voice for him did the voice for Venom in the Spider-Man cartoons.
Oh, is that right?
Wasn't that Hank Azaria though? No, I don't know. Anyway, someone will be going. No, it was.
People know about Batman the animated series because Batman the animated series is fucking cool.
It is, and it is arguably one of the most consistently good versions of the character. In fact, probably the only one really.
I hope they don't find his body because he's tied up with yellow cord and wearing a helmet. And tied to an office chair. We think when he fell in the river, he tied himself.
Again, it's this police incompetence though as well. That it's just like, I suppose you have to create that in Gotham because I mean that is inherently a thing with things like Batman and especially Superman is you have to dumb down everyone around him because like how does no one know Clark Kent?
Well, in the high camp quote unquote comic book world, you can just because it's kind of again this kind of classic heroics. You can just have Batman chumming around with the police. I think in like Adam West Batman, he's actually deputised by the police, is he? He's got like a formal relationship with the police.
Yeah, well, because he always goes to them first, doesn't he? And
I want that card. That's great.
Chief O'Hara.
Chief O'Hara.
Sure and big iron.
I was saying this to you off camera, right? And I don't lay this at Pat Hingle's feet, but the characterisation of Gordon in these films is so shit. He just stands around and reacts to stuff. Like Gordon... And I realise my version of Gordon comes from having read... the Frank Miller stuff and a few others. Like Gordon's this cool, involved, proactive character in the comics I read.
Well, and in the Nolan verse. But I mean, the trouble, the frustrating thing is here is that you have to show the police to be inept, if not incompetent. And the only sort of interaction we have with the police is Pat Hingle, right? And it's frustrating because... Like, can't we have it? Like, they just don't want to spend the time saying, "Oh, the police are corrupt," or "There's problems," and therefore, like, he's an ally for Batman. But
I suppose that the part of it is the level of storytelling you're allowed, because, like, in the animated series, they could deep dive into how ropey the police were.
Yeah.
You remember that episode Point of View? We've got like Bullock and then that beat cop, and it's there. But that's what a fucking amazing episode.
Bullock and not Ramirez.
It's not Montoya.
Montoya. That's her.
Oh, is that Montoya?
Yeah, Montoya's in it. I don't know if she's in that episode. There's that one where it's
that's like a beat cop.
Yeah, there's that one. Is that the one where Bullock is like under threat by the mob or whatever? There's one where Bullock's under is under threat.
They're both recounting an incident with Batman, and Bullock's trying to cover his corruption, minor corruption, and make Batman look like a schlub. Whereas this beat cop's kind of like, well, actually, he was on rare form.
Well, I love what they did with Bullock in that as well, because they really made him into actually he's you care about him. Like that, it's that episode where his life's under threat by the mob, and Batman has to work to help save him. And even though he's anti-Batman, they reach an understanding together. And
that
so good.
The Gotham show,
he's
really ran with Bullock.
Right.
You know, really went in hard on that.
But it's that great thing of saying no. There's another dimension. People aren't just good and bad. Like there's grey areas. And
well, look, a bit of fucking location shooting.
Yeah.
I forgot this was even in this.
Yeah, I know, it's about the only location.
It's like natural light, buildings, people.
Yeah.
It's not just people. Look at that
Dutch.
Hi, I'm Joe Schumacher Jangles. I show Dutch in here. I'm the evil Floyd.
Yeah.
It's a leaning tower picture. Hey guys, it's me, Bill Hicks. Want some dark comedy and some pancreatic cancer?
You know.
Bill wouldn't mind that, I'm sure. And I can say that because he's dead.
She's having a box. She's having a box in her
Psychology!
I'm so angry.
All right, Batman, I'm having a box.
Would you like to see me box?
Yeah. Oh, Batman, I'm boxing in black.
You're wearing black.
You're like a sexy Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks. I've seen Bill Hicks' dicks.
He's
got two.
Bill Hicks' dicks, like a Klingon. That's canon now. In Star Trek Discovery, they showed a Klingon having a piss and there was two pee streams, so Klingons have two dicks.
Oh.
True story.
To what end? I don't know.
It raises more questions than it answers.
It does, really.
Unless you constructed kind of like a Y splitter out of some straws just to fool people.
To perpetuate the myth.
Popped it down the urethra and then... To be fair, he spent a lot of time on that card.
He has.
Less time on that one. Still nicer. I mean, I would say Riddler is, you know, he spent a lot of money at Hobbycraft. He's a talented guy.
You don't tell me like Wayne Manor doesn't have like CCTV outside the gates or whatever. Like he just rode up barefaced and
he's got a secret base
bare-handed
with a coffin pipe that goes to his office.
Fingerprints all over it. It's like, well,
because they just sort of break into Wayne Manor later, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's things like that. See, the funny thing is this film has great production values in a lot of ways, but it does cover things quite cheaply at times. Like that break into Wayne Manor's a bit like they just gonk Alfred on the head and his stunt double falls out of the way. And isn't there a problem with like he moves his hand or something when he's...
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Right. Well, the thing, it's all very broad and cartoonish, and I think it's just this time when you would just hand wave by going like, oh, it's a comic book. Like that was an excuse to just sort of... So I remember the Watchmen film claimed to be satirising this by having kind of muscled nipple costumes, and it's like, I don't think you are.
Yeah.
I think you're just doing it.
This film does what I really hate, which is like Batman's on the front cover of a magazine and shit. Like, when would he stop and pose for that? And also, like the whole point, it just goes against Batman's modus operandi, which is to sort of...
It's one step away from Bat Credit Card, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing.
Well, literally.
By the time they get to the next one, is Bat Credit Card in this film? Or the next one. Next one. By the time they get to Bat, I mean, it's Batman and Robin. I think Batman and Robin. This one splits the difference. I think in that this is kind of quite campy and it's campy and fun and gaudy. And it kind of embraces its own silliness. Like quite a lot of Batman and Robin is trying really hard to take itself seriously. I think that Batman and Robin's biggest crime is just being really boring. It's got loads of really interminable sort of stoic dialogue, but they're still on a kind of neon pink roller coaster or whatever.
It's one of those films that's like it's a bit. I mean, it isn't, but it's a bit like The Dark Knight Rises, in that it spends an awful lot of time setting things up. And
there is more Atlas style imagery.
Yeah,
that's an odd motif. Sorry, I just...
Yeah, no, it is weird, isn't it? I don't.
Look, there's some Tim Burton stripy pajamas just to trick you into thinking that.
Now this is Bob Kane's wife, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. What's her name? Something Gertie or Gertie?
Roberta Kane. Also Bob.
No,
Kane.
I mean the character's name has a because she's in the Batman and Robin as well.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this
You're more conversant with it. I had this on tape Never bothered with Batman and Robin. I never saw Batman and Robin in the cinema, and I borrowed it for someone on tape afterwards, and I was just kind of like, wow.
I actually saw it in the cinema, and I bought the DVD only because I wanted to see the extras.
I forgot the Graysons have the classic Robin costume.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm.
I mean, because this is at the time of the animated series, so he does have a lot of the animated series kind of background and look to him and stuff like that.
Because
Chris 40-year-old Donald.
When with his earring because of the 90s. Were you saying that because Marlon Wayans was supposed to be Robin in this series?
Yeah,
and I think he got paid anyway because they pay or play. Like, what were you saying? Like, Batman was gonna do a horse ride through the circus.
Batman was going to chase the Joker through the circus, and through that somehow the Graysons were killed.
Batman knocks a screw loose. And
whatever collapses. It was, and that's what caused Robin, obviously.
You flying Grayson! Look at Gordon's just a simpleton.
Helicopter.
He never does any. There's no proactivity to Gordon. He's just a dipshit. He's the reason the police get nothing done.
Well, exactly. He's just part of the problem rather than being what Gordon should be, which is someone fighting against, the institution that's called, that's inept. And
so you never get a real feeling of like street level crime in Gotham.
No.
It's sort of like a man dressed as an egg is going to steal a tiger from a zoo in a helicopter. Like, there's no like. You sort of wonder how Bruce Wayne's parents got brutally murdered.
It sort of begs the question a lot of time with Gotham, like why the fuck anyone would live there. You would think it would be more like a kind of, I suppose it's supposed to be a bit like Detroit or something. In that like it's kind of really overridden with crime and poverty.
Well, yeah, I mean like
but is it a poverty-stricken place? Because it does seem, I think it's more of a rich-poor divide in
Nolan Batman.
Yeah.
Like, we waged an economic war, and there's supposed to have been a depression, which is a kind of nice callback to that 1930s setting, but it seems like the League of Shadows have caused a depression.
Yeah, League of Shadows tried to, Exactly.
In this, they might have had a baby oil shortage. Like, I don't really know what an economic crisis would be in this universe. Like, there's very little insight into ordinary people in this.
That shot of the hands grasping is actually the wrong way round, isn't it? Because it was shown as his dad reaching out from him from right to left. But then the right to left hand is the one that ends up underneath, unless we were looking upside down, maybe. That's really confusing. Anyway, sorry.
That's all right.
Ringside Two-Face.
What's Chris O'Connell doing these days?
NCIS or whatever.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he does like that.
National Crime Investigation Service.
Yeah. Isn't it Naval?
It's a spin-off of Jag, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a spin-off of Jag, mate. It all ties into the Tommy Westphal universe. It was made by Dwayne Duffy. He used to write for Batman animated series.
Do you know a lot of Two-Face's gang and Two-Face himself seem like they wouldn't seem out of place in the Arkham games? It's like
actually the
over the top.
Yeah, the Arkham game version of Two-Face is kind of halfway between this one and the
Aaron Eckhart
one. Yeah, because his burns are quite realistic, but he's still got like the black and white suit. I was always a little bit underwhelmed by Two-Face in those games. Those games.
It sort of went too far. I mean, again, like a lot of the aesthetic of those games, it does go very far. Like his arms all like all his things shredded and his arms all burnt as well. My whole thing with Two-Face was like, okay, I get it. Like it's actually his whole body sometimes, and sometimes it's just his face. Like obviously Aaron Eckhart's one, it's just his face.
His face in the back of his hand, which I liked as a motif.
Oh, was it?
There's a bit on the back of his hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I like that. But so it's this just sort of like, so dude, it's like.
I never liked though that the Nolan
half
one...
his dick.
No. Well, I know. Here it's like I'm not sure if his hand is. I think it must just be his face because it's shown as just going over. His
he
face.
Always has a glove on anyway, doesn't he?
But in the which I think he's done just to apply it to the rest of his body. But in Aaron Eckhart's one, like going around with the half-burnt suit, I was like, you did that just because you had to do that. I don't think he would do that. He'd walk out in like
doesn't really make a lot of sense,
his hospital gown, and then he'd have to find clothes.
That's a fantastic effect, but like the eyeball with no eyelid would just go milky and dry up.
Yeah, and all the teeth, like the cheek being melted out. And stuff like yeah, he should be a monster as far as like. I always thought that as well. Like what the animated series got really right was that he had this. The internal monologue and his internal voice and his Big Bad Harv.
Big Bad Harv,
he was a personality before he became Two-Face.
Yeah, there was already a split in him.
But there was always that like kind of the way he saw the world was very different to how it was, and that I don't know. Like I always thought there was more going on psychologically with him than.
Have you ever read the
others.
Arkham Asylum? I think it's called Arkham Asylum: A Serious Place on a Serious Earth, the Grant Morrison Batman comic.
No.
It's quite interesting that because they show because Dark Knight Returns is a thing where they've tried to use therapy on Harvey and it doesn't quite take.
Right.
But in
that's right. Yeah.
in
Arkham Asylum as well.
They fix his face, but then
he
it's
sees
both
himself
sides
as
match.
Yeah.
In Arkham Asylum, they've tried to wean him onto different denominations. So instead of having a coin, they've got him onto a deck of cards, but he just can't do anything.
Right.
So everything's based on a system of 52 or whatever. So he can't.
Right.
You know, it's quite a nice way of sort of breaking him down. Actually, the one Brian Bolland's Two-Face in The Killing Joke, who you only see briefly, is kind of like the Tim Willie Jones one, and it's this really super detailed, kind of flowery burn. Dead parents.
But look at that. What is that? A bridge or something? And why are they under
Some
the
days
bridge?
you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I guess it's the big top, is it? But why is it got
a metal dome? I suppose it's like the Gotham Circus Dome.
I guess, but it's right next to the water.
I've only just appreciated how many times you get called back to the fucking. That's the Japanese symbol for Robin or some shit.
Yeah.
The amount of times you call back to it was inside that eye. That was inside the same colour eye that Two-Face smashed through in that window at the beginning.
Was it?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Well, I looked at it with my face.
No, but I mean, was there an establishing of the circus?
Oh no! The floor with all the dead Graysons on was a concentric
Oh, I'm
circles.
sorry. The circus. Sorry, I thought you meant they were actually inside the literal eye.
Oh no! It's the same.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
Same
I'm
colour as
with you.
the-
I'm with you. Yeah, that's true. Very good point.
Surely that giant comedy bomb is a callback to Adam West. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. And
guess.
I swear down, I always liked how the Nolan ones sampled things to kind of synthesise a Batman story. And I really like to think that bomb thing at the end is from Adam West.
Well, doesn't he say? He says, "Don't thank me yet," or something. Isn't that a quote from?
Oh really? Is it
Yeah,
direct?
Amazing. Don't thank me yet.
I'm not the. Oh look, more location stuff. On a very smoky day.
Yeah, but they've clearly just hidden fucking thingies.
Alfred's vaping.
This is where you get a mention of Metropolis, or in a minute you get a mention of Metropolis.
Oh yeah, he says he might go to Metropolis.
Oh no, he says the circus must be halfway to Metropolis.
And in Batman and Robin,
he says this is why
Superman works alone. Do you think? Well, I don't want to go there necessarily, but and it's so different, this universe.
Yeah.
But it's hard to conceive of now. But people were so afraid to even reboot things or imply any connection.
Yeah.
And if you made something like this, there's always this kind of tacit understanding that it was somehow a sequel to the. So, could this be in the Christopher Reeve universe? I mean,
well, if anything, I suppose it was then going to be Nicolas Cage, wasn't it? Or somehow that was going to be in that universe.
This is why long-haired Mickey Mouse T-shirt Superman works alone.
In a way, I guess this was a precursor to set that up. But then it doesn't. But again, that I don't know how that world would have featured into this. But yeah, I know it's weird. I mean, I suppose the implication, as things stand, is that it's Christopher Reeve flying around out there.
Yeah, because it's Superman. Obviously, a Superman film never happened. But I don't know. I suppose you're right though, because if the Tim Burton verse Superman.
I mean, you could almost interpret that between these two films is when Superman shows up. Because in here, all they say is that Metropolis is a thing. They don't say Superman exists. And then it's this is why Superman works. And maybe Superman showed up in between. And
there used to be this thing where you would never ever cross over. It just wasn't done.
Yeah.
And if something come to an actual end, you just had to let it lie for a couple of years.
It's funny how though when we listen to filmmakers talk about these films in retrospect now, there is a lot of talk of what crossovers were talked about and were going to happen. But it was always you never did it.
It seems to always
second time.
At best, it would get right to the end of development and they'd drop it.
Well, it's that's what you did when you'd run out of ideas. They would they would keep it in reserve for the.
Well, I wonder if that comes from the kind of classical era when they used to do Abbott and Costello meets Dracula, and they'd actually have Bela Lugosi, and they used to do Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and that was perceived as the absolute dog end of the Universal Monsters cycle. And I wonder if that was so overpowering that it just because that essentially killed all that for 40 years or I wonder. Take a motorbike. I've got loads. What do you like? Meow.
He's got meow. And a pile of what is that?
It's a cheeseburger with onion rings and shit.
Is it onion rings? There's a pile of just random shit on the side.
That looked like exactly the meal every time you're fucking at uni and you go to the pub. That's what anybody eats. It's a pile of onion rings. I miss those days.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, I don't. I still do that. Look, man, there's more kind of Atlas style imagery in here.
Yeah.
It's very much. That is a cool shot. That kind of rack in.
Yeah, not hard to pull off. Oh, sorry, not easy to pull off. But
black and white photos.
Look at my 40s.
So I get a very different Martha and Thomas Wayne there, I suppose. And they're recreating this as well. This is another thing where it's like, again, they can't be too specific because technically, isn't that the Joker killing his parents?
Yeah, true.
Or is it?
And you can't use the image of not Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, it's just some other guy.
Nicely restaged though. So much smoke and lights.
That's very much that. Again, that imagery is used a lot in the Arkham.
There's a visual. That's a visual callback because Robin's parents died in a circle on the floor. So now we've retconned a circle on the floor.
True.
But those fleur-de-lis things in the window were orange and yellow again. There are definitely visual motifs running through this. I didn't even set out to defend this really, but like
I don't think. I mean, look, I think it's just one of those things. But I suppose it got overshadowed by the Jim Carrey of it all because it became very much
the Jim Carrey. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's kind of. Do you know what? It's Richard Pryor in Superman 3 to a degree, isn't it?
It is.
It's kind of bolting in. It's not as if Warner Brothers haven't done this before.
But it's no. It's. Do you know what? It does have good stuff to say and decent stuff in there. And I suppose the trouble is it fell between a gap of like the Burton films, it wasn't those, and then obviously in the light of the Nolan films when they came out, everyone was suddenly supposed to take everything super serious.
And people just didn't get that. I had this discussion. Who was I talking? That there is a big difference between something being adult and something being mature.
Yeah, we discussed that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd say like the Nolan films are quite mature, at least from the get-go. Whereas it's like, look, we'll go here, but like Zack Snyder, right? Sucker Punch. It's not mature.
Yeah.
It's adult. It's got his Watchmen film. It's not mature. It's adult. Tits and blood and sex are things that children can't watch. It doesn't make them mature. It really depends how you use them. And like there is a difference because people just kind of thought, oh, it's got to be dark.
Yeah.
So maybe the hero should pull someone's dick off, and it's just like, well, that's just stuff that kids can't watch.
Got to think about him saying like my Batman could get raped in prison. It's like, to what end? Like, why? Like, that's a thing that could happen.
Why did your mind go there, you fucking wonky cunt? Like, whose idea was that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit weird. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like there's so many. I've seen so many kind of video essays on things like Batman vs Superman, where it's like they extrapolate an awful lot of meaning, and there is a lot more in it than it first appears.
I will give that side of that credit. He does attempt to layer things. I just think he does it in a very ham-fisted way.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, but if the end product is still that kind of incomprehensible and ultimately quite boring, to be honest. I just don't think it works. I don't think these, again, much as with Prometheus, these are not the characters, and this is not the universe to be talking about Randian philosophy or whatever. These are not the places to do that.
Because that's the thing. I do think, because like I said in the Batman '89 review, right, the joy of this, there are so many interpretations, and I think you can do. I think there is absolutely a justification for doing a Randian Superman. It goes completely against what Superman is, and that would perhaps make it interesting as a comic.
Well, deconstructionism, right, is a big.
Well, indeed. So if you view, and the name Superman comes from Nietzsche essentially, and the Siegel and Schuster Superman was a villain initially. That's where they got it from. That as a comic, fine. As like a tentpole film that kids are gonna watch, don't get me wrong. I don't think kids are really interested in objectivism. I think they're more interested in, playing games and running. And I'm not saying they should all be for kids, but ultimately, if you're making a fucking $200 million Batman film, kids are going to watch it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to put it to kids because you need to make your money back.
Yeah.
This stuff. How did Two-Face get the drop on him? What was Batman doing? Just going for a drive, and then the Batmobile can literally do anything in this, where it's like.
In this universe, and this goes across all 4 films, you do get the impression that Batman just sort of chips about in his car.
Yeah.
Just goes for Sunday drives and shit. Like.
That broke, didn't it, when he threw it at the ground? He's got a rear-facing camera. Standard now on a Hyundai.
Standard on a Hyundai.
It is. They've got like miniguns mounted to the front of their cars and shit. It's just bonkers, but it's like, it's, you know what, it should be. It's supposed to be. And like, don't forget, like, you know, everyone goes, well, it's stupid, but I was a kid, I didn't know what I was doing, but like, I really liked it. It's like, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Look, it's a Silver Age. The thing is, none of this is out of keeping with the comics.
No.
And keeping in mind, and I've said this before, there's nearly a century's worth of comics. If you're talking about like Hellboy, where it's been going for like 20 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Different game. Like, or Walking Dead, is going for like 15. Batman, there are like nearly a century's worth of comics. It's been here, there, and everywhere in every conceivable tone. This is a Silver Age, and you know, I think the betrayal comes from the fact that the Tim Burton movies kind of weren't. Right. This is a balls out camp Silver Age Batman story. This is kind of like late era Dick Tracy, where it went all sci-fi and nuts. Unfortunately, you just have to accept that, you know, there are versions of Batman that are like this. And I will say, I've made the argument before, that the thing about Batman killing people, which is not something I want to talk about too much, like, that's kind of a holistic thing. That's like, you know, when you put a microbe of fucking aluminium in a 500 mils of water because it cures piles or whatever. Like, in all the time, sure, Batman's definitely killed, and Superman, and you can do that interpretation, but for the most part, he kind of hasn't. And that's kind of, that majority view kind of is what informs a character, you know.
You have to understand that these characters develop over time, and they're supposed to improve. Like,
and they respond to the culture.
Well, yeah.
You know, I think in certain times, and they respond to the culture and respond to the audience, so in certain times they do different things, and, you know, again, Batman went kind of wacky, but then in the 70s under like Denny O'Neil, it kind of become a detective-y and dark again, and then other creators ran with that in the 80s, and then through to the 90s, and now it kind of met somewhere in the middle. And you know, and it gains a large capacity for self-awareness, and you're probably down to what, like 3 generations of people writing Batman. I mean, it started in the 30s.
Yeah.
You know, so you've probably like, and they had trained by the previous generation, but they have a different take. You know. Because I'm sure a bunch of people who took, I understand a bunch of writers that took over from the 70s were viewed by the previous generation as like filthy hippies, because the previous one had kind of been in the services and stuff like that and whatever, and then all these stinky long-haired kids came in, and you know, it's like so shit. It's like that kind of Freddy Krueger.
You can sort of see the lip that's supposed to be all burnt and curled up into a smile for no apparent fucking reason. You can see underneath like his normal lip.
Cameo by Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar, which is really odd. 2 cigarettes, that's quite neat.
I remember they made a big deal about Drew Barrymore being in this, and it's like, she didn't really do anything.
Well, yeah, it's kind of this odd cameo, and she's had odd ups and downs in her career, hasn't she, bless her? Because I think she was fucking doing drugs when she was a preteen and shit like that. But I like Debbie Mazar as well. She's you know, she's great when she turns up and stuff. I think she's on something on TV at the moment.
She's had a very consistent career. She's never done anything massive, but she's great. Yeah.
Does he have to like walk backwards down that line so the dark side doesn't go on the light side?
I know, it's just too convenient.
That's my little autistic kid brain. That's all I could.
It's also like we turn around. Two-Face wouldn't go to these lengths either, would he? Like, even have 2 misses and two. Like, it's just something.
But again, this is the giant coin in the Batcave and the dinosaur. This is the Titanic and the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah,
it's not Silver Age shit.
No.
I do. So Stephen Goldblatt's cinematography in this, you know, he did the other one as well, and he did. He's an odd one because he did like Joe versus the Volcano and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, this film, for what it's trying to do, it does it really well. It looks pin sharp. You know, it's got loads of creative camera work. So there's some good visual storytelling. There's visual matches. There are clear repeated motifs. You know, I mean, you know, it's like. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like caviar flavoured bubblegum. You know what I mean? It's got this kind of high-end treat. It's like sort of like high-end trash.
I mean, the whole, like, it's funny because like this gets tarred with the Batman and Robin brush, and in some ways rightly so, but you also have to go like, I think, I just think that like this was more, I think this is probably more what Joel Schumacher wanted to make, and I think once Batman and Robin came around, the edict wasn't it toyetic or whatever that was the word?
Yeah.
You know, that's one of those.
Well, that's the thing, because I think they were trying to. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
That's corporate ideation for you.
Corporate ideation. I've got the bandwidth for that. Don't get me wrong. It's inveterately cynical.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pretend it's high art. I just think there are defendable things in it. it's inveterately cynical, and it's designed to sell toys. And I think, there's often said about this and the other one that they had meetings about what could be toyetic and so forth.
Right.
So I think their thing was they tried to sell toys. I think there was Batman Returns toys that were supposed to go out with Burger King stuff.
Yeah.
But they had to withdraw them, or they just didn't do it because it's fucking Batman Returns.
I don't know. I think they did it, didn't they? Didn't they do Happy Meal stuff?
I think they did it, and then parents complained or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a big
little
backlash.
Toy of the penguin biting someone's nose off, or whatever. I really love, because their kind of chemistry works really well on screen, and it's even better when they fucking hated each other, at least. Or at least Jim Carrey's telling of it is actually I quite liked him, but he hated me.
Yeah. He is sort of known as a bit of a grump, isn't he, Tommy Lee Jones? I don't know if he really is, but I'm sure he's probably just fed up with all the sycophantic attention.
Yeah.
I remember this being on all the ads on TV and stuff with this, where they does anybody else feel like a fried egg? Isn't that some drug campaign, anti-drug
Yeah, this
campaign?
is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. There you go. It's your brain on the box.
There you go.
Which Bill Hicks had a bit about.
Oh.
I'm telling you, this is a covert Bill Hicks film.
Why does he have panderised? His thing's green.
The whole panderised thing really fucks me off, and because one of the things I was so on board with the Nolan trilogy is they never did that, and then the third one they do, and it's just come on, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It gives you the time to say that he must have wiped it off in the car, but it's come on.
It
doesn't come off clean. What are you talking about?
I know, they should have just made it a thing. I don't know why they didn't, because they made everything else a thing. Because he could have just gone out without it initially and been like, shit, it doesn't work.
Because they even did that thing in Dark Knight, where he uses the 3D sonar kind of thing, and it makes his eyes go white.
Which was a great way to bring the white eyes into it.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's only for a few bits.
Yeah.
So it's
I'd love them to do the kind of Daredevil treatment on it and just don't explain it. Just have that he just has white eyes that are expressive.
Do you remember Batman Dead End, the Batman vs Predator film with Sandy Cholera? He had white contact lenses.
Yeah.
And it's that's cool. Because you don't do the scene where he's taking his lenses out.
Because in the comics, it's kind of it's like it's his eyes, but they're not, and they're expressive, and it's there's no join. It's it will just.
This is terrible. Yeah, right. It's it's not. It's sort of in the extras for Iron Man. They talk about how Stanley. I think it's Stanley himself. Not that he's an artist, but he was talking about how it kind of just looked like gold fabric.
Yeah.
Because it's a comic, and they never considered that anyone would actually have to go and make a live action. That's the thing, Judge Dredd having a massive golden eagle on his shoulder. You don't think about having to actually then make that reality.
Make it work in a sort of real context.
This one, the joys of comics.
Yeah. This is such a sort of, what would you call it, sketch, isn't it? The punchy. This guy's just standing there letting him do it. His face. And his ears, you've got why are they Two-Face wouldn't fucking do that. It's as soon as he meets the Riddler, he just turns into an utter child. Maybe it's because the Riddler put something on his box in his brain or something, and I don't know.
Well, there's definitely the kind of GNN carrying over from the other movies.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of competing energies. Because he said Michael Caine, Bruce Wayne,
Michael Caine.
Bruce Wayne Enigma represent this thing. I mean, it's this lazy villain thing of two sides of the same coin, but they're kind of quite physically similar. And later on, he turns up dressed as him, and they represent these two types of energy, and it's kind of performative. When Tommy Lee Jones has seen this gobby punk come up as an actor, so he just sort of seems like he's trying. Like I said earlier, it's like dick swinging. He's just trying to match him, and
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. The Batcave, sir. Fuck. I mean,
shit. Good old Michael Goff's great. He was. I said before he was the celestial toy maker in Doctor Who, and a fucking location again. There's more than I remember.
The thing with this is it's just when the fuck did he build that? That's just obviously it's just some industrial place that they've gone to, but it's that it is implied that this happens very quickly. Because it's not like there's a passage of time. It's he suddenly got this shit together.
Yeah, right.
Like,
all
how
of
did
a
that
sudden.
happen? What, because he stole some diamonds and then can afford to build a giant industry and factory? Like, I'm pretty sure there would have been testing as well, like government testing to make sure it was safe.
No.
This is
well,
really
mate,
weird.
maybe Gotham's completely unregulated.
Could be.
They're this objectivist society. That's why there's Atlas shit everywhere. Maybe
be.
that's what I love overanalyzing this. It's going to piss loads of people off. It's just full of random imagery. It's a satire of
Built
objectivism.
a fucking island with a big blender
And the
on it.
thing, I don't know why the blender shape is so valuable to the design. The spiral thing is quite Burton-esque.
Yeah.
It's all the colour. And
Yeah.
Elliot Goldenthal is doing the kind of core... he's doing a like knockoff... what's his name? Who's the guy the very famous composer that did the first two films?
What?
The first two Batman films?
No, I can't think.
I've taken out your brain.
I can even see him.
People at home.
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman, yeah. Goldenthal's doing kind of an Elfman thing. Because he did... one of the other films we covered recently. He did Demolition Man, he did Alien 3.
Arguably having a tougher time of it than perhaps Junkie XL, because obviously, like, the Zimmerman score to The Dark Knight... Zimmer. What did I say?
Zimmerman.
Sorry, the Zimmer score to Dark Knight is very iconic, but it's not got that specific sort of march that Elfman put a really specific twist.
It doesn't
on.
have a theme, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there are themes in it. There's some very clever stuff with running razor blades down violin strings and things like that to make that kind of dropping sound. I really like Junkie XL's music. I'm not... Some people are of the opinion that every single film score should be a bombastic orchestra thing, and I don't agree. And I really like Junkie XL anyway. I like Junkie XL's music. I like Junkie XL's Deadpool theme as well.
Yeah. I quite like Goldenthal's score to this. I just don't think it suits... Like, it's weird that it's applied to what is supposedly the same Batman as before.
Yeah, so I suppose the whole thing's a kind of slight shift to the left, because I really like the music for Demolition Man and Alien 3 both work really well. I kind of feel like, I don't want to say it's wallpaper, but it's done to just serve the film rather than stand alone, which is what a score should do, really. That's what it exists for. Let's bone.
Quite to the bedside manner there.
Look, is this her place? She lives inside this
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
So that's the Gotham TV show is quite, again, it sort of splits the difference between this and it's halfway between this series. I'm just going to say this whole series, and the Nolan thing, because like Jim Gordon lives inside a giant clock face. Like his flat is inside a giant clock on the side of a building, so there's a massive clock face in his flat. Yeah. Or unless it's Barbara's flat, but they're going out in the first season, so whatever, they're around there a lot. Right. But he's inside.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And there's loads of big nuts, kind of crazy. There's loads of crazy buildings and architecture, and they kind of really go into the sort of wacky Depression era Gothic Art Deco thing a lot. Which is Nolan's one's. It's basically Chicago, isn't it?
Have you got something you can talk about for 2 minutes?
Oh,
because I'm going to do to
going
you.
For a pee.
I'm going to do to you what you did to me.
So the thing is, this setup different to the old setup is the toilet's right there.
Yeah,
we're not in a bathroom.
No. I keep my DVD players and stuff in the bathroom.
All right, Duncan's going to urinate.
I'll be right back.
I'll be here. There's loads of the Batman magazines.
He's on Time magazine.
So I've often wondered about doing one of these on my own and what that'd be like. I mean, fucking hell, I've got to say the conversational element to this really helps, and I suppose directors do them on their own. I think that the Philip Kaufman commentary to his version of the Body Snatchers, which I love, it's one of my favourite films, is one of the dreariest fucking things I've ever heard in my goddamn life. So I hope this 2-minute section of just me, well, he said 2 minutes, I don't know how long it takes. I don't know how long it takes a Duncan to miturate, so we're going to find out. But really dreary and kind of drags on, and I can't imagine sitting down at home just being, all right, everyone, we're going to do a 2-hour thing where it's just me talking. So but don't worry, I can just keep going and going and going like one of those irritating sort of radio DJ guys. In fact, if local radio want a job, give me a job like presenting shit Rihanna songs and stuff, I will absolutely do that. If it pays more than what I'm doing at the moment, I'm well into it. But anyway, yeah, I don't really intend to have a spirited defence of this film. I just think there's a lot to be said for it, and I find it quite enjoyable to watch. Not that I ever do. I don't own it. I don't put it on. Or I think, oh, fucking Dick Tracy watch. Jesus Christ. He's got an Apple Watch. Fucking hell, with the late great Michael Gough inside his watch. Completely forgot about that. It's sort of like how there are iPads in Star Trek The Next Generation and Demolition Man. Though it looks like it's going to break Sandra Bullock's arm in Demolition Man because it's clearly a CRT with like shitloads of wires coming out the bottom of it that are going to sort of give her scoliosis. Very well lit there, Alfred, on the other side of the watch. So what's... oh, yes! Joyriding the Batmobile. Yeah, okay. I remember. So he's just joyriding the Batmobile, Duncan. Is this the... Don Wilson's not in this one, is it? Don Wilson's in the next one.
Yeah, I don't think it is Don Wilson.
Hello. Oh, no, that's Don Wilson with the skull.
Yeah,
I knew it. Don the Dragon Wilson of Cyber Tracker, Ring of Fire. The other Don the Dragon Wilson films. Cyber Tracker 2, Ring of Fire 2, Ring of Fire 3.
I'm going to eat more nutritious flapjack.
I did have a minor Don the Dragon Wilson fandom. I'd love to do
women's Don Wilson fandom.
Look at him. You can't even see his face, it's a skeleton. Fucking badass martial artist though, Don Wilson.
Well,
I'll kick your fucking head off, that's for sure. This is just this thing. Like, this is what I'm talking about. When you finally see street level Gotham, it's this sort of like camp. Like, people from Camden would think this was a bit much. You know what I mean? They're just like, fucking hell, tone it down, guys.
It's weird as well because everyone's sort of like, they're all threatening but non-threatening. You know, it's weird. It's sort of like,
well, it's this kind of high camp world. I always get mixed up with which of these Don Wilson is in, and I'm glad it's this one.
Isn't he in the other one as well?
I don't think so. Well, it might be.
There is another sort of gang leader that's supposed to be like him.
Okay, well, maybe he is, but...
They ran down Blacklight Alley.
See, this does feel like a level from the Arkham games now, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
With the sticks and stuff. Yeah. Press Y, do a counter. Get your combo up, get more points. Throw Batarang, use your grab work.
There's quite a few obvious stunt doubles in it. Like there, for example. That was definitely not.
Man, there's some... I know it's not your bag, but in the Star Trek movies, there's some amazing Shatners.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's just like, you might as well be black or whatever. Like, it's so totally different guys.
You can tell he's... Yeah, that's someone who's way more competent than that would happen. Doesn't the fire go up when he kisses her? Sort of like the lighting comes...
I mean, that's the thing as well. Like the Burton ones are very expressionistic, and these are achingly expressionistic in a very different way. But this feels like it's taking place in a Laser Quest, actually.
Yeah, it's good though. You know what? Like I'm coming down on the positive side for this. It's funny because I went through a phase of not liking this at all, and it was right after Batman Begins and stuff like that, and I just thought I was just so silly. You know, because I was like, yeah, Batman's really...
Yeah, there was that point when you're like 20 or whatever and everything's serious, and I'm a grown up now.
Exactly. See, there's Batman. That's a great shot as well. Like, it doesn't make any sense because his cape doesn't appear to be... They made great hay out of Batman kind of floating on his cape in this, but he doesn't sort of have the physicality to be doing it, really. There's that great shot later on that was a CG, was one of the early examples of sort of CG people, where he jumps off the building and the camera follows him.
Okay, yeah. I love this. He just did loads of backflips. When it comes to Batman, it's like, oh, yeah.
I like that. That's a great line to give Batman. If Bruce Wayne could have given his life for your parents, he would have.
Right.
This is a sort of almost Superman thing where it's like, obviously that wasn't Val Kilmer walking off into the thing, and then he walks out having taken...
It's a lovely, subtle piece of trickery, that.
Yeah.
It's very nice, because of course you don't need to see the back of his head. He's Batman, isn't a coward. I mean, it's, you know, in terms of how it worked, because it's movie making.
Well, it just puts a bit of momentum on the start scene. Obviously, it was done as one take, but that they've cut there. But.
And the momentum of this shot, that panned round, and the camera moved right, and then it cut to it moving right because he was, you know, closer shot, and then him coming in, moving left. It's good storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. You all these scenes, there's always a sense of geography. You're never lost.
Yeah.
You always know where you are. You always know the way the characters move through the scene and what their intentions are. As I said, not a spirited defence of this film. That's not what I'm doing. I will never defend Batman and Robin. It's
no,
because this is quite fun to watch. Batman and Robin is interminable and it's boring and it's dreary, and I never felt like I had anything particular to say.
It doesn't have much of a soul, does it? And it is one of those things where everyone's phoning it in. I'm not going to. Like, Joel Schumacher took it on the chin for that. He did apologise.
He's been very. But I've got to say fair play to him, yeah, because he's absolutely just said, he did say I apologise and all the rest of it.
But, you know, like you said, I didn't set out to ruin anyone's childhood. I was just literally, like, you know, doing a job. And look, it didn't have long. I mean, this was 95. That came out in 98, 97?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So it's like, it was only a couple of years to turn around.
It's just so up its own arse. It's got all this portentous dialogue and stuff. And George Clooney doesn't give a shit. And... yeah,
and he was so last minute as well, and he was in between shooting fucking ER, and he was shooting...
That's such a funny place in his career, isn't it? Because he had this insane ascendant, so he was still on TV when that happened.
Well, it was sort of like a weird, perverse Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future thing of like he was doing his day job and then running across the Warner's lot to do this.
That reminds me of when I was working in a spray paint factory in the day, and then being a night porter in a hotel at the weekend.
Well, I had a dalliance
just like George Clooney.
In my own small silly way. I was doing. I remember when I was doing Snow White and the Huntsman. I started doing Skyfall, and they dovetailed. So there were days when I was doing Snow White and the Huntsman and the Skyfall set, and it was obviously the Bond stage and everything, and then I was sort of running between the two in a way. But
this must have been that's no way the same haircut from. Was this?
Well, he's cut his hair like Bruce Wayne, isn't he?
Yeah, no. I mean, in terms of actual day-to-day filming, because that's like Jim Carrey's normal hair. But when he's Riddler, that's a whole buzz cut situation.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make any sense.
In terms of filming in sequence to accommodate his various haircuts, must have been.
Well, that's just what I mean. It's so weird.
He's even got the mole.
Yeah, how's my mole? I love his when he goes, "Shut up!" Like there's a sort of tradition of shut ups in Batman, aren't there? Like in the first one, there's the guy's like, "What's he like? You're bad." You want your cut of this money or not? Now shut up! Shut up! He's got a fag in his mouth. Wait, we'll find something to put
That's the dude from Auf Wiedersehen, Pat, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Shut up!
Bad. That in my head, that dialogue just loops. So it's because I can never remember where it starts and finishes. So it's just like the bad. Look, he goes, Johnny Guab's got blown, took a walk off a roof, right? No big loss. He's like, yeah, that ain't what I heard at all, man. I heard the bat got him. The bat. Now, Got your cut of this money. That's such a cheap look. This is corrugated iron or whatever. What's his hair doing?
Man, he's just the go compare man, isn't it?
Got ringlets in his fucking hair for some reason. What's that with his fringe? Look, what is that?
He's dreaming that he's on a cheap set.
I know. What does that prove to the audience as well? Like, what? Yeah, I'm sorry, but a Gossip Gertie, that's her character's name.
So that's Bob Kane's wife.
That's Bob Kane's wife. I have to say, not the best actor.
Yeah, well, do you know what?
I dream of diamonds.
Diamonds!
South African.
I love diamonds and rich shit.
So he actually looks quite a lot like Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I mean, he's very chameleonic though, isn't he?
Well, Jim Carrey has that funny thing where he sort of like, he does actually have quite a versatile face and quite a sort of, you could do him up to look like a handsome leading man. Like, yeah, it's sort of.
I gotta say, I watched that documentary about making Man on the Moon, and he just comes off as a total arse. I know he had a method.
Well, he even sort of admits to being a bit of a twat about it all, and kind of just like
I would say
Andy Kaufman.
I would call him a historic arse.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem particularly reticent, but at least he admits it.
Could we say a retrospective arse?
We're not using the R
No,
word.
sorry.
What is that?
I know, it's just got loads of lights on it for no reason.
It's kind of like that. It looks like one of those cigarette machines you used to get in pubs, but like a really lit up one.
It's like a toy proton pack, like stuck on the wall.
Oh, it's got some kryptonite in it. Again, it's like if you were buying fags in a laser quest, that's what it would look like.
I remember that confusing me as a kid because the light goes up and down. It looks like he went up.
Right, okay.
Which is weird because it's against
thing.
the sort of blank background with the thing moving on it. It's just a TV in a room. It's not really a thing, is it?
Fuck, 9.
It's got some Predator blood in a vial.
Dude, try not to celebrate in front of Chase Meridian there. Might be a bit obvious.
You can see it on her face as well. When he's dancing with Nicole Kidman, she can't keep a straight face. She's like cracking up and shit because he's just being a dick.
It's like, bit Jim Carrey.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know how to respond to you.
I'm a serious actor.
Yeah. Can I?
Cloaca.
Oh, he's got a Trinitron display there. Sony Trinitron.
Oh, just on a Sony Trinitron. Yeah. A sidebar. I'm a member of a Facebook group called Rock Bottom, and it's an Australian Simpsons meme group.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite
you
things in
added
the
me to
whole
it,
world.
actually.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
I love it so much. That and Star Trek shit posting are the best things. It's the only reason I got Facebook anymore is Star Trek memes and Australian Simpsons memes. Tobias?
$500 dues.
Dollary dues comes up so much in that group. It's insane.
My general parlance. You shouldn't put Two-Face in a double-breasted suit.
Yeah, because it crosses over the line.
Yeah, exactly.
For those of us that are a bit more compulsive,
yeah, exactly.
it's an absolute nightmare.
Hit the window, Batman.
Yeah, the fuck. And like, I'm sorry, but if you're a tailor and someone comes to you and says
That guy comes in.
I want a suit with two things, who maybe take his address and give it to the police, maybe?
What was that? There was a company called like Oppa Suits or something like that, and they used to build you a suit panel by panel from just random bits of fabric.
Okay.
They were hideous.
Yeah,
I felt like if I hold it close to my face and move it away, I might see the Eiffel Tower or some kind of 3D image.
It's a bit like because Volkswagen used to do that. They did a polo with all the panels were different. It was really weird, like multicoloured polo. It's like
okay,
great. Pre-thought the movie rights. Yeah, I remember this big iconic-y type shot as well. But it is, and that guy. Why is the guy the security guard from the opening?
I wondered if that was him.
Yeah,
he's
and is he? Do you think? I know this is going to sound horrible, but is he given that voice because he's deaf? Because he's got a kind of sort of silly voice.
That's kind of. Well,
It's only just occurred to me that, but it's like that's a horrible thing if they've done that.
A bit of a shitty thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Going back to the Arkham games, I think Two-Face's hoods actually do wear that.
Yeah, the sort of
kind
two-sided hood.
Split balaclava.
Yeah, I think they do. They wear something like that. Like what?
You can be in the skin pack I've got for Arkham Knight. You can be Michael Keaton. You can be Christian Bale. But you can't be Val Kilmer or George Clooney.
That's such a lazy Indiana Jones moment.
Yeah, really, and it wasn't even very well covered. You know what I mean?
This bit's not very well covered. Where this stuff just seems very school play.
Bed snog.
Let's have a bed snog.
I'm dripping wet. Dripping wet. I'm wetter than a koala's cloaca. That doesn't make sense, but it's alliteration. You better get the bed mop.
I'm absolutely dropping bed.
I wish Schumacher. I mean, yeah, I do wish Schumacher had the pretext to be able to do like the grey and blue batsuit. Just go balls out. Because the trouble is, this feels very foisted in. Like the fact that he's in the all black just doesn't.
Well, I think
it jars with it all.
There was Schumacher, I think, was going to do the Batman Beyond film. You know, this is one of these things that was just floating around. But there was talk of a Batman Beyond film with Schumacher.
This shot is great, where he jumps off the thing. I mean, I know it's all a bit stylized and CGI, but like getting Batman to do stuff like this is cool, and it does speak to his thing of like he just jumps in.
Yes, Batman stuff.
Yeah,
Batman doing Batman stuff is what we want. Fucking Jesus. Still makes more sense than when he jumps off the roof with Rachel and lands on that car. There's one sound effect that goes. That implies his cape went up.
No, that makes more sense than you give it credit. You always do this. You come back to that. It's like, no, he gets one side out. That's the point of it. Because you know the electricity's in his gloves.
He gets one side out. Right.
No, but
right,
so basically half his cape works.
You know, like
that's why they start rotating like a sycamore
tree. Like a
sycamore seed.
Alright.
So it does. So it's sort of it's not terribly well covered to show you that.
Well, that's the problem. It doesn't show you enough.
I know.
It's like I never questioned it. Obviously I did, but I never rejected it. Put it that way.
Okay.
But it's just a bit like the way it's covered.
It does, but yeah, I mean, it does then fall into the kind of they just fall. It's that movie thing of if you fall on the roof of a car, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Unless it's the opening of Lethal Weapon.
When Conan O'Brien does it in South Park, the movie, and he just goes, and it's like.
Well, I like in World's End when he does it. That's brilliant. Though.
He's like, oh!
He just breaks all her windows for no reason. Just like jumps on the car. That's great. I love this stuff where it's like he gets buried
buried alive.
I remember having the making of kind of magazine of this because that was a big
those
thing.
gods,
Judge Dredd one, obviously, but this apparently is all is crushed up maize. So it's corn he's being buried in because otherwise like. It's that thing of like sand doesn't look like sand on.
Yeah, you have to glue two sands together. What is it like for The Simpsons? Isn't it like horses don't look like horses? You just have to tape together a bunch of cats.
No, you paint you paint horses to look like cows, and then what do you do if you need cows? No, what do you need if you need horses? You tape a bunch of cats together.
It's such a brilliantly surreal. Cigars, is it like sausages?
Yeah.
Gratitude problems, see, he did. Oh, he's a cool 90s kid.
He says Nightwing there, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and Nightwing is way better name than Robin.
I remember saying that to my mum after listening to it, going, screw you, and like getting bollocks, like...
I think the biggest, as I was quite young at the time, but for somewhere I picked up How Now Brown Cow. I said that to my mum, she went absolutely fucking mental. So is it this one or the next one? He basically has the Nightwing costume, but it's got the red.
It's Batman and Robin, yeah.
It's
red
before the silver shit happens, but.
Yeah, it's got the Nightwing insignia, but he has a cape and he's Robin, so it makes about as much sense.
Oh yeah, because this is just like an armoured version of the Flying Grayson OG costume, isn't it? Like,
well, in this, yeah, it's kind of like a.
So look, he's shirtless there. He's not. If this was made now, he would have to be an insane.
It'd be like fat Val Kilmer. It's just like no, he's in really good shape. He's just not muscle bound.
He's just not in insane, unrealistic.
I'm quite sceptical though of the whole Ben Affleck thing because the way that's covered when he's doing his CrossFit. The only time you see him with his shirt off, it's in very specific lighting, and the way it's covered, it's like I'm sure that's just.
Well, you know what else?
It's augmented, man.
I don't mean this in any cruel way. I'm not being flippant, but he's been in and out of rehab of alcoholism.
Yeah,
and that's not great for your weight.
No,
and you kind of wonder, yeah.
I'm sure he worked out for it, but it's like he's not in the shape that he's portrayed as, and it's like why wasn't any. Like it's not like with Henry Cavill where they were selling like Men's Health magazines on the back of it. It's like he's not like he wasn't shown outside of that one scene to have any kind of.
Carl Urban got in nuts shape for Dredd. He just absolutely shredded it because he wanted to be like his words, a beast of a man. But then he's under the armor the whole time.
And that costume doesn't really lend itself to that because it doesn't have the big shoulders or anything. Yeah, this is all very sort of weird and dreamlike, isn't it?
Batman,
I've been waiting for you, Batman. I've got a vibrator with it's big and he's got like 2 ears on the top.
Oh, Jesus. Careful.
Yeah.
It's a rampant ribbit.
Rampant bit.
Rampant bit. You're such
your ass.
Yeah, well, we did, the bum shot is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know why anyone would be like, I fancy Batman. It's like you see his fucking mouth. She just goes up in whatever your eyes, your lips. You're like, yeah, that's about what you can see, though, isn't it?
Your panda eyes.
Yeah,
you got the eyes of a panda.
Because that's right. Because she fancies Bruce Wayne. And that's
yeah,
he's a happy chap.
Absolute blue balls.
Yeah.
So okay, bye. It'd be great if he just kind of like, okay, sorry about that, bye.
Yeah,
and then just comes to her front door wiping his face. Like, I was just in the neighbourhood. I heard you like Bruce Wayne now. He's like pulling a sock on still. Oh, hey.
He doesn't really do a different voice for each character, but it sort of works, doesn't it? I don't know how.
He's a bit kind of gruffer, isn't he?
He's a bit he's actually quieter. I think he does what Keaton does as Batman, which is actually talks quieter.
That's a gift.
You do not want to see Batman smile.
Mm. Yeah, it's because people kind of laughed at Christian Bale doing that, and I admit that got worse and worse. By the third film, he goes way too far.
It was a doubling down that was,
but it's something that because Kevin Conroy did a subtly different voice as Batman. He didn't go nuts though. But like I think Batman Year One, they've got it from there because then a lot of stuff was Batman Year One and Batman Begins, and it's about how he does a full-on different voice.
Yeah.
And if you are like a known billionaire celebrity, you probably do want to.
He's less consistent with it in Begins because there are times when he softens it and does just talk like Bruce Wayne, but then come the Dark Knight, I think the trouble is when you've then got Batman giving long speeches like him having an interaction with the Joker, it's very hard for like.
Well, you know what? It's the same thing in the Star Wars prequels, and I'm not just going after those for any reason, but like. Yoda should talk in kind of fairly short sentences. Like you shouldn't have him standing around pontificating about things. It's in that stupid cadence.
Yeah, exactly.
The fucking Ain't It Cool News once wrote a whole review of a comic in Bizarro speak.
Right.
It's one of the most obnoxious things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. That's the thing actually that doesn't in this film. Sorry, I didn't mention it. Well, because I was peeing. But when Dick Grayson goes for a joyride in it, the fin at the top splits in half. And I remember my toy. They made a big thing out of it. Like, the toys did it and everything, and it was like. But it only does it, I think, in that one scene in this because he gets blown up now. Spoiler.
What about John Dragon Wilson action figure?
Yeah. All that. What is all that equipment?
I like also that quitting as Batman just means turning all the lights off.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you're rich, but don't you do that anyway?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Your fucking electric bill must be through the roof, mate.
Yeah, you think that'd be another tip off for the electricity company? Do you reckon he steals electricity from someone?
You know, like when
to cover up.
You know,
he probably owns the electricity.
They catch people growing drugs with the thermal camera because it glows through the roof. Like Wayne Manor must just fucking glow.
What's that noise?
Nothing.
It's like it's a nuclear reactor now.
Bruce Wayne's hair falls out.
Master Wayne, shouldn't we? Well, Master Wayne, should we do something about that now?
Is that a taxi or a pizza company?
Yeah. Gotham Pizza.
It's got a fucking jack-o'-lantern and everything.
Well, it's Halloween, isn't it?
Halloween. I also, this is the thing. Like billionaire Bruce Wayne, apparently. Well, okay, it's all of the camp thing, isn't it? But it's kids come to the front door to trick or treat.
Yeah.
Apparently, because there's no security whatsoever.
Well, I love this sort of Batcave. I do like the way all that's laid out. It doesn't make sense that he's got cowls there and over there and over there. Yeah. But I like the idea of the bat suit sitting. I mean, I actually like the way they did it for Ben Affleck's Batman. It was like sat in a cabinet and all that. It's weird that he has a Robin costume in there that implies
that will never be expanded upon ever.
It's weird what they're doing with the Joker at the moment with all that. With like obviously Jared Leto's Joker that just doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and then now they've got this.
I think they're going for Elseworlds. I think they're trying to set up an Elseworlds brand,
which is all right. I mean, I actually think that's what they should be doing. To be honest,
yeah, I'm quite up for that. I'm quite up for that being cool.
Yeah,
like if that's cool, I'm not saying it will be, but if that's cool, I'm totally in.
If that gives them a pretext to do like a different Batman, so that'd be awesome.
It seems they've cast Bruce Wayne and Alfred for that.
Have they?
Yeah, like child Bruce Wayne.
Oh, I see.
And it's one of these things where it's like, if that's true, so the Joker's going to be like 80.
Well, I suppose
but then there's a fan theory that he's the original Joker that inspired the next Joker or some shit like that.
No, I hate all that shit. So
it's too much.
You can't invest in characters like that. That's the thing.
Look at that.
It's like even the thing with Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman. It's like, well, he's Lex Luthor Jr., so he's not really Lex Luthor. So what? Like, so
maybe that Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor Jr. Whatever. Like
look at this shit. This is the...
That would be such a good... If you could randomly tune in to a point in commentary, look at this shit.
I mean, that is definitionally buffoonery, isn't it? Why has he got red gloves on? What are they now? Like these sort of silly children. Like
this is what I mean. Again, I've defended it, but there are points where it's just like, come the fuck on.
I know, like he's prancing up and down. Like, and Tommy Lee, I'm sorry, I will not sanction your buffoonery. What do you call that?
What? Well, exactly. And how did he enter into this? Did he think it was going to be like a fucking Oliver Stone film or something? Like,
that's when Tommy realised he was sanctioning the buffoonery.
Buffoonery, the Tommy Lee Jones story.
In those sort of acerbic interviews he gave, where he sat there in like a very 90s suit and tie, going like, I didn't know who Harvey Two-Face was. He keeps calling him Harvey Two-Face, and he goes, Harvey Two-Face, my son knew who he was, and he wanted me to do the picture and whatever. And you're like, and money, presumably.
Yeah, right, and a shit ton of money.
This is the height of Lee Jones' power, right? Because he'd come off of The Fugitive, so he's an Oscar-winning actor at this point. And he's dancing up and down with Jim Carrey.
Men in Black, probably a little while after.
Well, apparently he approached Men in Black with very much the same... When he started shooting that, he was acting it like this. Right. I can't remember who the director was.
Barry Sonnenfeld.
That's it. And he had to say to him, no. Like, that's not who this character is.
They put the mole on the little boy. Did they go back and put one on Michael Keaton and retroactively?
This just made him lie out in the sun with like a little hole cut in a hat or something.
You need to develop it there.
Got to do preparation for this role.
How many times have we seen him fall into the Batcave?
For fuck's sake. I know, and the fact that they did Batman vs Superman, I was like, really?
It's so unnecessary. That's one of the things. I wasn't nuts about Spider-Man Homecoming, but like it didn't. But we don't need to see all that shit again.
Uncle Ben getting shot.
Don't need to see it again. It'd be funny if it was Uncle Ben from the rice packet.
I mean, actually, this and Batman vs Superman both do this in a very abstract way.
Yeah,
this is incredibly abstract.
Yeah, it's an expressionist thing. I mean, it does carry that over from Burton. I mean, this whole scene is like guest director James Cameron, blue lights everywhere.
Yeah, the because there's a cut scene, isn't there, where he walks into the Batcave and has a fucking chat or whatever with the damn bat. Like, there's a huge giant bat puppet, which is
that's right. Yeah, the crazy bat puppet thing.
Sort of stands and puts his arms out and does a thing with it. And
at least it's an attempt to get into his head. Well, the thing actually, this is something we haven't mentioned yet, probably because we've just been prattling around. So the reason Val Kilmer didn't come back is because him and Schumacher fucking hated each other.
Is that what it was? I mean, Schumacher tells it like he was all gearing up to do it with him, and then he just bailed.
Well, it might have been one of the things where it was one way. It's like, we hate each other, and it's like, I don't hate you.
Yeah. I don't know.
That being said, from other sources, from say like Lost Souls, the documentary about Richard Stanley's Dr. Moreau film, like Val Kilmer, he's a tricky one.
Yeah,
he can be difficult to work with. Yeah, I don't want to just call him an arsehole or whatever, but Alfred, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but he's already proven his income stunt double.
Well, he already let Vicky Vale into the back.
Watch his hand. Like, he moves the tray out of the way, and then doesn't he? I think you see him move. Oh no, yeah. So when he fell over, he moved the tray so that it wasn't in the way of the door. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. He lets Vicky Vale in the Batcave. Like, he's not security conscious.
I believe in the original Batman '89 commentary, I called him a senile old cunt. And that's one of those ones that gets quoted back to me because there's bits where I just went off on one about all these things I didn't like.
Yeah, see, people,
not very mature.
People quote things back at me, and it's like, guys, you have to remember, like, if I did something 2 or 3 years ago, like ad hoc and like completely in the middle of like a 2-hour conversation, I'm not going to remember it.
I try my best to remember because I like to share those moments, but like. I feel guilty when people quote.
Oh no, so do I. But I wish I could engage with it, but I'm just like, I don't know.
There are certain things I know I said and stuff that get quoted back to me a lot. But there's some, I feel bad because it's like someone wants to share something with me. I'm kind of like, oh man, I don't remember exactly what part. Because I've done like 200 of these now.
300, mate. 300.
Fucking Jesus.
Well, between us, it was.
Yeah. Okay. I did a lot. You did a lot. Man, he just shoved that into concrete.
Yeah, what is the floor made of? Like that. That's a great stunt there. I love that.
Great bit of, nice.
It's a good bit of Bruce Wayne. I like the way they get, Bruce Wayne's sort of fighting tactics are different to Batman's and stuff like that. And I like, it's quite clever. See this shit? It's like, why is he he's there on his own. Sort of buggering about.
Yeah. He does that, like, thrust, doesn't he, when he plays one?
Like that? Why is he, he's like pulling, like doing this shit, like.
He is Jim carrying the fuck out of it.
This is the full bore Jim Carrey, like, both barrels fucking.
Both barrels of the twat.
He was like, why does it make that noise?
I could smell that one.
Yeah.
In 4D. There you go.
Don't like fart noises? Fuck off.
We've some fart noises. We already did clackers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's all about
where's that noise going? It's just like
we're here to call out Randian motifs and do fart noises.
Yeah. Someone call the fat lady. She's on fart. Those ones are remote ones, aren't they?
It's GoldenEye remote mines.
See, that now doesn't make any sense, that, because it's like all the like machinery bits are all just one panel, aren't they, under the thing?
This is basically isn't this basically what Bane does?
In essence, well, he steals all of Batman's shit, doesn't he? But yeah, in essence, yeah. Well, there's a lot of parallels between that and all these. See, but this is the problem with Two-Face, right? If he can just simply keep doing the coin until he gets the outcome he wants, then it robs him of all.
What's the point? Yeah, what's the point?
That's not a thing as well. You can't shoot someone and it grazes their head. This bit doesn't make sense as well. If you kill him, he won't learn nothing, and it's like he doesn't learn anything by that anyway. Like he won't learn anything from this riddle. And why do you want him to learn anything? Like, he's Batman. I thought he was going to kill.
And the fact that Two-Face is just into that.
Like, why would he be?
What?
They've used makeup to cover up his eyebrows as well. Like, the Riddler doesn't have any eyebrows for some reason, but then he does when he's not being the Riddler. That guy fell over.
It's a callback to Cesar Romero's moustache.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, Batman. Fuck's sake.
Oh, I love that. I love the inveterate laziness of that. It's like, you're not covering my moustache up, man.
I'm not covering my moustache. So he was in an episode of Magnum PI, as was Pat Hingle.
Oh.
And that was weird. Yeah, it's weird seeing Cesar Romero as anything other than the Joker.
Well, oddly enough, Frank Gorshin was in a very famous episode of Star Trek where they were a race of people who were painted half black, half white.
Oh, that's
so it's like a Two-Face-esque.
Yeah. Oh. There you go. Sorry, my wife is plugging things
My
in.
wife?
My wife?
Would you like
a... What?
Would you like a wedding?
Not again, they're expensive. that is that old man thing of not trimming your eyebrows. Like,
That's
your fucking eyebrows, mate.
So remember my Year 7 science teacher, Dr. Wiley, had like... It looked like, if you imagine an inverted tornado coming out of each ear. Just this insane...
It's like, dude, come on.
Man, there are so many Riddler outfits in this.
Oh, that's what he spends all his money on.
What excellent improvised comedy by Jim Carrey. Because you see, people can see him jogging at night, but he wouldn't jog at night, would he, Duncan? Ha 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 ha. That's a super cravat, though. See, I tell you what, though, I will say this. Jim Carrey at this point, height of his powers, definitely into cocaine. It would seem. Robin Williams would also, certain things, Toys would be a brilliant movie if he just fucking reined it in a bit. Right. There's whole bits of him just going ha 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 and just doing all this like hilarious improvised comedy, where no one's got the guts just to say stop that. Because Toys is wonderful. I really liked it. I'd love to do a commentary on Toys.
Yeah,
really wonderful on so many levels, but he's kind of the worst thing about it, which is frustrating because he was a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
You know, but that Toys is the hill I'll die on.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I do think it's the Jim Carrey stuff that lets this down. It's not to say that at the time it was a bad choice or whatever, but he's just sort of he dominates where he shouldn't, and he doesn't. He robs that character of menace because he's been like a buffoon, literally.
I think it ruins a lot of comedies, and I think it's kind of why Judd Apatow comedies are really far too long and just really undisciplined. It's kind of like everyone on that set thinks that everything they say is brilliant. It's like, well, we can't cut any of it out.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, meh. So I know he didn't direct Anchorman, but Anchorman, they had enough material to cut another film, and it's like, you're not being disciplined. You know. Well,
it's one thing to approach it like, all right, you let everyone go off on one and you just capture everything and then you stitch something together, but you've got to be disciplined in the edit then. You can't just there's these sort of long, laborious takes of people cocking about.
Yeah, that's the thing. And this is Jim Carrey at the height of his powers, and they were selling it on Jim Carrey. And it shows because it's just sort of like, well, everything he does is brilliant. Fucking the bums, man.
Yeah, I remember. I thought
he got another cool suit. Yeah, the kind of.
It's a sonar suit. I have no idea what that means, but obviously
it's fucking volcano adventure Batman.
How the fuck does a plane hang upside down like a bat, and then how does that take off?
That's right. Fucking Jesus. Is it fucking Christmas?
He looks at his dick. There was that thing as well with the domino masks of like sticking them on rather than having anything around the back of your head.
Really kind of glued on. So that does not look secure.
No.
Fucking earring and stuff as well. It's just like, dude, everyone knows who you are.
I get ripped out in a fight.
He's wearing an armoured version of his old circus costume.
I don't like as well that they give them black eyes. Like, give him Batman black eyes, but he's got a grey suit now. It's like, can you not find a colour that will fit with that? Like,
maybe just run out.
Okay. They'd already bought all the
into Boots or whatever. Yeah. I mean,
That's
the thing of them
shot.
becoming partners, they don't really sell it very well. He fucks off and mopes for a bit, and then I guess he's learned something, and now Batman and Robin.
This gave rise to, so there's the Batman thumbs up that he gives to Gordon.
Yes, GIF.
I use that in my car sometimes when I go punch.
And it also implies that Gordon can see him.
I know.
It's a great GIF, that is, and it's also part of the. Yeah, you know, I can't cut this film too much slack.
It's the hardest fucking cave in the world to get out of as well. Like, look, they did the
call back to one of the stupidest things in Batman '89.
That clock on the wall there, it looks a bit like the building the Predator goes up and gets electrocuted on for some
whatever reason. I got between Batman Returns and this, like Gotham nationalised neon.
Yeah,
there's a big investment in neon.
The Neon New Deal, or whatever.
The Neon Deal. It can't turn your fucking heads.
Yeah.
Of course, the
he shakes his hand like they did something. He turned the light on, you fucking idiot. Sorry, go on.
Well, Christian Bale, and you can find this online if you don't know about it, and I'm sure most of you do if you're here, but Christian Bale auditioned with Amy Adams in Val Kilmer's Batsuit. It's a really nuts, because that suit on that actor with that performance, it still makes sense.
Yeah.
You can tell he's really skinny in it, because I think it's probably when he's piling, either losing weight or trying to put it back on from the machinist.
I think so, yeah, I think it is.
But Amy Adams is Rachel, and they're in some alleyway somewhere, and it works pretty well.
You can see a shot of Cillian Murphy in it as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's not, there's no footage, but
It's
you can
got
see a picture
like
of
a 4x3 publicity still, just framed.
Yeah.
Batman's holding a framed picture of Cillian Murphy. I live in Deptford, I could walk it. There you go, it's 28 days later for you.
Tell me, Shelby. Arthur Shelby.
So I've never watched Peaky Blinders.
Peaky
Blinders.
The Peaky fucking Blinders. See, what is the point in that boat? It goes. It's all made of balsa wood and shit like that. When it comes apart, it's just a flat thing with.
This is dead similar to the Superman 3 thing, flying to the base and shooting missiles at with the computer.
Yeah. It's a slightly more sophisticated version of it.
Batman 3 and Superman 3, the best Batman and Superman films.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you're with me on Superman 3.
Kind of, yeah. I remember I had the toys for this. I was so fucking happy. I had the Batwing, which the toy was not really like the one in this. It was very different, but it had a thing where it ejected like a submarine-y type thing off it. And
did it like spring, like launch off?
I can't remember. No, I think it pulled out the back or something. I can't remember.
The Val Kilmer head thing. I can't recall I had much else.
Because I remember the animated series Batmobile. You pulled the back out and it turned into a little flying thing. But it was really well integrated, like you couldn't tell when it was inside.
I think I had like a matchstick car Batmobile.
I remember I had to wait for Argos to get those back in stock, but that was back in the day when I used to phone them up every like weekend or whatever. Be like, is it in stock yet?
Oh,
no, not yet. And I had to wait for ages for that, and then I finally got it, and I was so happy.
I remember buying back issue comics from some dealer when I was like 13, and I saw it in the back from a magazine. I wanted 2000 Prog 2, and it was like 30 quid, so I saved up paper money and had to go get a postal order. It's like, excuse me, do you have pictures of 2008 photo? Bless him, they fucking put up with it and everything.
All those frogmen would have died. Because they run the fuck out of there. That's a great shot there, Batman underwater, like yanking the thing tight. There's a lot of Batman underwater in this, which is quite hard to do because those suits will just literally like sponges soak up water and then become insanely heavy.
Strange choices.
Look at his makeup, that's really weird. That's a whole prosthesis around his forehead and his eyebrows, isn't it?
The whole him and the Domino, it does look weird. He's got that kind of, like when Arnold gets burnt in the Terminator. He's got short hair and no eyebrows. He sort of looks a bit like that.
Do you think that was done with makeup with Arnold? Did he just shave him
off? Don't know. Yeah, the budget of that film
probably
just shaved him off. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Alright. Holy Rusted Metal Batman.
Yeah. Where was the metal though? I didn't see any.
Isn't it like a grate? It's like a drain or something?
I like that. I like the fact that there was a grapple situation that didn't work. Because that's all too often the thing that... I mean, why does that even raise up? What is going on? Who built that?
What's going on?
What's going on?
You dirty old man. Oh, you dirty old man. Harold?
Oh, we're going to Bognor!
Well, it looks like we're reviving Steptoe and Son.
Yeah.
Fucking love Steptoe and Son.
Harold.
What was it the other day? I ended up talking about... Oh, yeah, I did a podcast with Ethan. I was talking about porridge. We're supposed to be talking about John Landis, but I got it onto porridge because porridge is great. Norman Stanley Fletcher. I like Two-Face's crazy... Because it's not a real gun, it's a crazy silver chrome pistol thing.
Yeah, it's weirdly laid out because it's got a little magazine in the front. Because it's the pistol grip goes all the way to the top, so it's like you don't... I don't know how it would... I don't know how it... There's no top slide, so it's really weird.
Chunky.
Yeah.
It looks like a gun from an N64.
All the guns in this are sort of remade because he had that rocket launcher thing that was really weird looking, but like quite cool.
And those neon Tommy guns and stuff. Some of those guys, some of the guns in GoldenEye when they're on the floor, they look like just two bits of wood nailed together. When you get it in your hands, it's like a high poly model, but when it's on the floor, it's just like this. Is that a plank?
I watched someone did a recreation of like GoldenEye, like the film, but as if it was the game. So they've added the game sound effects, like we have the door.
There's someone's done like Predator with the sound effects from Contra, and I think there's a Terminator one with like Mega Man sound effects and stuff. So it's like whoop, 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 whoop.
That was quite a good shot where Two-Face slides back and then you get that.
I mean these sets and stuff are fucking nuts.
Yeah. Rather see you in jail. He has a slight sort of his S's aren't quite.
See you in jail.
I'd rather see you in jail.
I love at this point, I guess, like 60-year-old Sean Connery as Robin. La flying gracious.
See you later, Al. Two-Face is going to pay.
He's up on his motorbike and stuff with his earring. He's like a rebel teenager.
He's got fucking rocket boots, doesn't he?
This
bit doesn't make sense at all because he just pops up through the floor and it's like...
Sorry.
Just fucking open up.
Yeah, again, but the staging in this is great. I mean, there's a real sense of depth and stuff. I mean, it's totally dumb.
It's just a flat floor and then suddenly... Brip. Like, why?
Is it like a disco ball?
And what was pulling him up? Like, he was hanging onto a chain. Where's the chain go?
Well, this is the thing, because it has all this kind of crazy theatrical staging stuff, but then they literally open the next one with the fucking dancing on ice sequence.
I know. See, this is, by the time you get to the end of this, it's just balls to the wall fucking men. Yeah. And like, as well, when he drops them out of the tubes, like, the floor for some reason has disappeared, like, and he's standing on a platform. Like, it's weird, like, because that looks like a solid floor, right?
Yeah.
But it all just, for some reason, is gone.
I think so. The chair is like, I think it's Rodin did the Thinker, the guy. So I'm wondering if actually it's more of a classical. I don't know enough.
We
about
need
classical
TGV.
Sculpture.
We need TGV.
Yeah, he's
the boss.
He's full of grown-up knowledge.
He is. Oh
yeah, the little point from the question mark.
Yeah, I know. He's got it stuck that on his cheek.
That hair as well.
Twat. Like, how much time did he spend on that?
Absolute ding dong. Is that like a skull?
It's a skull in a question mark, because, you know, why not?
Yeah, I remember the Riddler is one of the most irritating things in the Arkham games. So I'm not collecting
it's a
question
side
marks.
quest,
Fuck
yeah.
off.
It does the Riddler a little bit of injustice, really, because I just think... I mean, I like some of it. I like the thing where it's like you have to stand and line up the question mark.
Yeah, there's certain ones, but when you're just
cool.
hunting question marks, it's like, nah, mate, I want to sneak around in vents and beat people up. I'm
Yeah, exactly.
here for that.
It's a hard character to implement in a game, though, because obviously he himself, you can't really have a fight with the Riddler, can you?
No, he's
you can't
decking this skinny
even
guy.
with the Joker, that's sort of...
They kind of made him look like David Tennant a bit, and I think David Tennant wanted to be the Riddler.
Well, you could do that, I reckon.
He's definitely got the look for it.
You'd have to do an American accent, though.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of D10, as no one calls him.
Did you see Scott Adkins' Batman?
I did, yeah. And I saw his thing about it being leagued players. That was quite sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's good. I think he's definitely got the look anyway.
Yeah, he's got the physicality for it, without question.
Sure, man. Yeah, he's a nice guy too.
He's a nice... just want to be a nice guy, you know? $1 million a day.
You know, $1 million, $4 million for it. It's $1 million a day. You're pretty lazy.
It's never not funny. It's the best.
See, Two-Face looks alright there in the shadow, like behind him when he's lit.
He looks alright when you can't see him.
See, look, holes open up, but then when he presses it in a minute, it's just got like massive gaping. So, like, you'll see what I mean.
Because all the spotlit stuff is quite reminiscent of like an Alex Ross painting.
Right.
And I think when they do that kind of run into the camera thing with Batman, Robin, and Batgirl in the next one, it kind of feels a bit like her. Because Alex Ross did a variation of that, which I know is an ancient Batman image. They've even got like silver gags. It's just the amount of production budget these villains have.
Yeah.
You got to wonder who they hire makeup artists and shit.
I know. For what? I mean, like, that's the thing you could make hay of in some film, isn't it? That they had to do all that, and it's just like ridiculous.
That's what the Venture Brothers is really, really good for.
Yeah.
They always do. Like when someone has some big elaborate plan, there's always like they always have to hire a makeup artist or whatever.
Watch this bit here. So coming up when he puts it, you know, he does the thing and he puts like a sort of sonar vision on. If you look at where the mouthpiece should be in the cowl, it's empty. It's like it's on a mannequin. Look at
Interesting.
this. Watch. Like so. He goes, "You're blind in the mouth." And then look at this. There, look. What's that?
Yeah,
it's
weird.
Really weird. It's like on a mannequin or so. So yeah, and then here, like, look, when you get the wide shot of the floor, when you can see the floor, it's all missing. Look, it starts. Oh yeah, it opens up.
Right.
Like, it's really weird. I don't know why though.
I would say
so Batman can just jump off and do the whole.
aesthetic of the Arkham games definitely takes more cues from this series than anything else.
Yeah.
Particularly Arkham City, with all its greens and all its neons, is way like this. And even that, that perspective shot of the Batarang, it even had the same similar sound effect when you do that remote control Batarang.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, that's true. I think it's a sort of. I think it works in video game form. I mean, it works here too to an extent, but it works sort of in. See, look there, like that's just so you can have him do that. That's the thing. But then they seem to be falling. Oh, never mind. I'm just asking too many.
Yeah, well, again, it's kind of nonsensical by design.
Why just the bat symbol be good enough to do that?
Right, like
broken
Jesus
bat.
Christ. Well, that's what I love it, because sometimes you have Robin throwing little R's, and it's not in these films, but I've seen that and stuff. Yeah. It's like, dude, come on.
I remember doing this with my toys. I used to do this, that they would like jump. I got the lampshade in my bedroom, like that was the layer, and they were jumping out, and Batman had to save people. I don't know why I had this really great idea that of jumping off things and saving people.
That's good kid imagination, though.
Yeah, well, I had to be quite improvisational with my toys.
Oh man, there's always the thing where you have to have a G.I. Joe fight a Terminator or whatever. It's like delegate a fucking action man to be John Connor.
Yeah,
you've got a Terminator that's half its size.
I used to do stuff with Blue Tack. I would make him look make my action one of my action men would be a Terminator. So I'd do a missing eye piece. I used to sculpt it and do fucking.
I made mine little cardboard shades, and I made him the bike levers out of bin bags.
Nice.
So Terminator 1, Terminator.
Nice. Yeah, cool.
But then, unfortunately, I tore an arm and a leg off, so it'd be more like a Terminator. And then I threw him on the roof. I was a moron, absolute moron.
I never got that thing with the thing where you injected skin or whatever onto a. Terminator.
They redid that for Terminator Salvation.
Did they
did
really?
A Marcus Wright one. It was just what a toy to bring back.
Yeah.
And one of my mates had it, and it's dude, who's going to go and buy the refills for
I know, yeah.
And the figure doesn't even move.
Yeah,
exactly. There's some guy somewhere who's keeping that industry alive.
Batman kills Two-Face.
Yeah, Batman kills Two-Face, and the whole.
Having said, don't kill Two-Face.
Fucking the any old coin thing.
Yeah, any old coin.
Any old coins. Again, if I was an eccentric billionaire, I'd buy Warner Brothers, and I'd make sequels to this with Val Kilmer and Jim Carrey, just to be a cunt. No creative reason, but we're bringing back the Joel Schumacher universe. It's going to be great.
Well, because isn't that the thing that I always thought it was implied that Two-Face survived because the coin was the right way up in his
okay, I never.
That was the
thing.
Thing.
Yeah, the weird Bruce Campbell.
I don't understand. This is where his head got melted,
and then it's gone back to normal by the end of it.
Yeah. So these are just growths or I don't know.
There's a weird.
It's grotesque, isn't it? It's really bizarre. I mean, it's in a way I like it because it's quite comic booky. But
I wish it looked like that the whole time. It's just this strange potato-headed man.
Someone would probably find that quite offensive nowadays. Look at him; he looks like
it's a good effect.
Oh yeah.
This is Zack Snyder's Batman fucking the Riddler, I guess.
The Riddler got raped.
Fucking shut up, Snyder.
That's just a load of people who are blowing water and chucking leaves at a sign.
It's raining on this.
I like
on this plaque.
Arkham Asylum, though. So this is Ray Auberginois, is it?
There you go.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, God, it is as well.
Yeah, there you go. And they've given him Tim Burton hair as well.
Yeah, and he's called Dr. Burton.
Dr. Burton.
He's got the big fucking bow tie.
There's Constable Odo.
Didn't Ray Auberginois do a thing? He's in Frasier as well, I think.
Man, he's done tons and tons of stuff. And then he was in Suits as well.
Was he?
No, sorry, Boston Legal.
Boston Legal,
because I think him and Armin Shimmerman, who was Quark, was in Boston Legal as well, and Shatner, obviously.
I'm Batman. I love when he goes, I can't tell you if you don't say please. I love that. That's a Jim Carreyism that works.
Yeah. Look, they've put a bandage on his head.
He's bandaged all the grotesquerie out of him.
There's I think you probably watch it on YouTube, and I am not saying that Jim Carrey has ever indulged in any kind of stimulants or substances, but there's a clip of him on The Big Breakfast, and it's definitely quite early in the morning, and he's rather manic.
Really?
And he is Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm Jim Carrey! And it's don't have to do that all the time.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like a thing he sort of... I think he really got very quickly into that thing of having kind of created this persona that he just couldn't put down.
Yeah,
like,
I think there's being, and everyone's telling you you're a fucking genius and stuff.
Yeah.
But to be fair to him, he did his time in the pen because he did loads of stand up. He did In Living Colour. He did SNL, and he got famous for doing like William Shatner and Dirty Harry impressions. And stuff.
Yeah, he can make himself look like Clint Eastwood. He does it in Bruce Almighty, doesn't he? There's a scene where he looks in the wing mirror and he looks somebody looks scarily like him, so he's like, like freaks out. But it's actually just him. They put a mole on his cheek or whatever. Isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've never watched that all the way through.
You don't like it?
It's like I just couldn't compete. It's one of these things I'd always find it halfway through on ITV9 or whatever, just be like, there.
I like it.
It's probably all right. I just
featuring.
I think that feels like a kind of takeoff on an Alex Ross thing.
Yeah, they did it at the end of the other one as well. Schumacher kind of created a tradition.
Look at the ears wobble.
Yeah, I know. He created a sort of 2-movie tradition where he would open and close it the same way. So it's kind of like in that one,
Arses and Silhouettes.
Arses and Silhouettes, and the Warner Brothers logo morphing into the bat symbol, and in that one it freezes. And in this, at the end of it as well, like, doesn't Batgirl run out with them and stuff like that? There's that fucking bit about Batman and Robin where like she suits, so like you get the thing of like, Batgirl is now Batgirl, and she comes out and he's like,
wait, Jon Favreau?
Yeah, he's Bruce Wayne's assistant.
I missed that. I fucking missed that.
I forgot to say that.
Oh man, Bob Zamuda.
I don't know that.
Bob Zamuda was Andy Kaufman's like performance partner, best friend.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, she comes out like as Batgirl, and he's like, "What do I call you, Bat?" And she goes, "Bruce, it's me, Barbara." It's like,
I love that she went to I mean, there's only so many ways to tackle this, but she went to Oxbridge University, which cracks me up every time. I think in Van Wilder, The Rise of Taj, the sequel, that's set at Camford University. I like the idea that there are two bizarro Oxford and Cambridges that are equidistant.
You really put a lot of effort into that. Oxbridge is the thing. It's the thing that's talked about here in there's the university. There's the general university thing about what's it called? UCAS or what? The thing where you're getting people into uni.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oxbridge.
They say Oxbridge meaning Oxford and Cambridge.
Oxford and Cambridge because it's kind of like saying Ivy League in the States.
Yeah.
So Oxbridge is a thing, but there's no place called Oxbridge.
Yeah.
Camford is nothing.
No, Camford.
I had one guy,
thing.
American tourist, when I was working in the hotel game, and I can totally understand where he came from with this. I'm not calling him stupid or anything. This tourist came to me, and he was like, because he's in Cambridge, he just arrived, he just got off the flight and stuff. And I think he was on a business trip on holiday, and he just come up to me, he goes like, "Does on the concierge desk."
Oh,
sorry. I just touched Duncan's hand. It was very sexy.
Yeah.
He walked up to me and said,
Sparks flew.
How do I get to Oxford University?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, there's kind of X5 bus every half an hour. You can get on the train. You have to go through London, so it's about 2 hours. And he was like, can I walk it? And I was like, pardon? He's like, wasn't it like just over the river? And I was like, what, Oxford University? And he was like, yeah. I was like, Oxford University's in Cambridge. And I was like, oh, no. So, because there's no way to say this without being a patronising cunt.
Yeah.
Like, Cambridge University.
Yeah.
So he presumably had heard the term Oxford like smashed around or whatever.
Well, I guess he thought, he'd heard Oxford University and Cambridge was the place where Oxford University was or something.
Because, look, stick me in fucking Boston or whatever, I'm not going to know where everything is. I'm not having a go at this guy or anything.
There's Cambridge in Boston.
There is Cambridge in Boston.
Cambridge in there, rummy.
Clam chowder. Yeah, but he was just like, where's Oxford University? Can I walk to it? And I was like, no. It's like 2 hours away. But then I was like, you go to Cambridge University, it's basically the same.
I prefer it, but I'm biased.
Mate, I have equal disregard for both of them for various reasons.
Fair enough. The light that you shine.
I remember when the Warner Village Cinema in Cambridge, as it was then, it's now the View, was you would get like a tie-in glow-in-the-dark cup for this.
Right, okay.
And me and my mates went and stole some. And we thought like we were going to be chased out by security and stuff. We went and grabbed these cups off the side and just ran off like, fuck, go! I took about a cup each. And they were just like, cup.
Yeah.
It's like a plastic cup, but we thought it was like crime of the century, and they were just like, some kids took some cups, like no one gives a fuck. Well, there you go.
That's it. The Batman
forever.
Batman forever was not forever.
Much like the Neverending Story. Blah blah blah. Jokes about misleading titles.
It's funny. I don't get the title. Which you probably should have covered before. But like, why Batman Forever?
Oh, fuck knows. Because the one they were going to do with Nicolas Cage's Scarecrow and Madonna as Harley Quinn and all that shit, like that was going to be called Batman Triumphant. And there is a chapter of The Dark Knight Returns called The Dark Knight Triumphant. Right. So that, I guess. I mean, and they wanted to get Jack Nicholson back as a cameo, right? Like they were going to do a Scarecrow hallucination. Yeah.
Well, there you are. I hope you made it this far, and thank you if you did. And we really appreciate that. And that was our take on Batman Forever. Slightly random, I suppose. We've covered Batman and Batman Forever, done the rest. But
I think that there was analysis, but also pure old body humour, pure old toilet humour
throughout, if you will,
as usual.
Yeah.
And the occasional sound of me eating grapes. Sorry about that.
And me going for a wee. So.
And you go for a wee, which I've roasted that challenge, I think. So we are now on Discord. We are on Patreon. We are on PayPal. Twitch, we have a Twitch account. I've been streaming games. We're planning more stuff. More stuff's coming your way. We're planning shit, aren't we?
We are indeed planning that shit.
Planning that shit. So stay tuned, tune in, and all that stuff. Same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll see you next bat time.
Bye. Hi everybody, it's Duncan Casey. I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about our new storefront at redbubble.com. Yeah! We have all new merchandise, including t-shirts, mouse mats, mugs, phone covers, and much more besides. Fucking merchandise! Please go over there and have a look. It really helps us out. It helps keep the lights on, keep the channel moving forward, and spreading the word. Capitalism! So please head over to redbubble.com, links in the description, and check it out.
Support your 7th or 8th favourite YouTube channel by buying crap, tat, junk, hogwash and filth at redbubble.com/people/Val Verde Shop.